What is up, everybody? More Camelot. Oh, hold on. I think we're in the middle of a Ember Daily. Excuse me. Is this Camelot? Hey, Marps. Well, we beat the hardest fight, which is Gwaine, but and we didn't really struggle with that at all. We were always just, handicapping ourselves and fucking around. But we'll probably struggle more later because we were more prepared for Gwaine than we are for everything else, which is pretty typical of what happens when I make a free-to-play account, so. Because, you get Robin, David, Mozart, George, you get those things, and you make, Gwaine pretty easy. And then you don't have that much for Aussie and Lion King and all that. I don't think Tristan will be too bad. I think Caesar will be fine, so. I'm not doing a GSSR right now. And I don't know how many times I have to say this. It's like, if you're expecting NA stuff from me, you're going to be disappointed, because I know I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. I don't care about NA, right? Like, I'm totally fine that it exists. I'm happy people enjoy it. I hope everybody gets 5 stars and 3 SQ, but it's like, at no point am I ever going to give a flying fuck about NA. It's 2-year-old content I've already done like 30 times. Like, seriously, I don't spite NA, right? I hope things go well for NA. I'm glad when they get animation updates. That's all great. But I don't know why people think I'm like giving a fuck about 2-year-old content. Whoop-de-doo! By the way, I got Ongra what the fuck? I'm talking about how I just got Ongra on a different account, and we just get Ongra again. It's fine. So that was weird. I don't know what the odds of that were. So I was gonna say I haven't gotten Ongra on any account in like 2 years or something, and I got him last night. And now we got him here, so we have him on Every account, I don't even. It's funny, I've gotten Angra, I guess, like 9 times or some shit, but it's spread out over all my accounts, so none of them have an MP5. Well, we got an Avenger, guys. That was weird. That was really weird. Because coincidences happen, right? Like, that's a thing. But Angra is just so rare that was really weird. I don't think we're gonna really need him though, because we actually have access to proper berserkers and stuff. Alright. So we fight Mordred pretty soon. I think she's not that far after Gwaine. Much as I like Bedivere, he's not gonna be good for this stage at all. Let's see. You know what? They're using Hercules, but let's not go that ham all the time. I actually want a level 1 George. Just to get some quick MP charge. Hey Ludes, what's up, man? Well, it'll be in the VOD, so at least we have that. Yeah, I got like 2 of them to drop, so I thought about going for a second one MLB, but I was too lazy, and I didn't want to use apples on this account because it doesn't have, you know, that many. Wait, that's not a level 1 St. George, that's a level 52 St. George. Damn it. Well, what do I even do here? Kind of a bad opening hand when both are sabers. So I spent like 700,000 FP, and I only got the Star Gather, or I'm sorry, the Star Generation command code twice. And I got every other command code quite a few times, so that was great. Well, we beat Gwaine so far, so this count's doing all right. But this count's pretty underprepared, but it is what it is. So Ari, I'm gonna guess you gave Shiki Star Absorb on Art, but a Buster Crit and Quick Star Gen. Either that, and then maybe there's a debuff or dot removal in there somewhere. But yeah, with the early command codes, there's not a lot to do with them other than like Star Absorb and Star Gen. Like that's pretty much all you can really do. I guess there's the heal one, but that's fairly minor. I know a lot of people that, like I said, back when command codes were added to JP, there was a lot of NA players that tried JP because of command codes, and then they were like instantly disappointed and went back to NA and never played JP again. And it's because, you know, they thought command codes were going to be like awesome, which they are, but the early command codes are very low impact, and then they didn't stick around long enough to really see what command codes became. And so they kind of always had this mindset of command codes are like whatever. And then I imagine now that they're on NA, they're gonna, NA still has the really early shitty command codes. That's just gonna reinforce that mindset even more. I figure eventually people are gonna realize how good command codes are, because after they add a few, it's kind of obvious. You don't have to be Einstein to see the worth in a lot of those. It's like 25% more Buster Crit damage. That is so much DPS. I mean, like the 1000 heal, 10 NP gain. You know, there's so much stuff now that's Super impactful. So I haven't really been paying attention to what I've been doing the last few turns, but I can't help but notice that Robin Hood does not have his NP, but Ku does, even though Robin has way better NP gain. Though he had lower starting NP. It's because I didn't use Golden Rule, I think. And also, just the debuff removal command code is so good. Like, never mind the dot one, but like the general one. Also, dot damage OP. Now, I'm going to assume... I do not have poison, but that's fine. I'm going to assume there's no more sabers, and it's just Archer, Camelot Knights next. Yeah, I agree. Command codes are... I'm always bitching about how lazy DW is, which I stand by. I think they really are lazy, and they've really dropped the ball in many aspects of this game. No safety net, by the way. But the one thing that I think has been really good for the game has been command codes. I think they really have added a lot. They've allowed for a lot of unit customization, and you can really help out your favorite units and stuff. You know, it's because it's no joke. I mean, the difference between like a Nareshigal and then a Nareshigal where someone's really thought out the command codes to really synergize with her well and stuff. I mean, the difference is massive. It's huge. And then you can have units that just have like slight issues with their kit that you can really fix, which is, I need to level my Ku, by the way. I just realized he's fairly far behind. Trying to get Robin NP gain. I'm hoping the 5th year anniversary, man, they gotta add like a new game mode. Like, they gotta. How can you, like, you can't go 5 years and never add a game mode. I mean, you can, but you shouldn't. Okay, this stage was a lie. I should have dropped. Oh my god. I probably shouldn't poison yet, but fuck it. A lot of sabers. I haven't paid attention the last few months. How has Arc Knights specifically been doing profit-wise? Because that's the only way they're going to start trying harder is if the other games start beating them, which generally doesn't happen because Fate too strong. And we're getting like shit on here. Because there's Arc Knights, you know, Epic 7, and like, I don't know really. I know Grand Blue does really well. I don't really know how Grand Blue does though when it comes. I know they have story replay and you can play old events and stuff like that, but you know, I don't really know how they do that game. I mean, I think Epic 7 does a lot better than FGO, like a lot. I think they do some things worse, mainly gear. I think gear is like the worst thing in that game. But honestly, if you objectively compare like the amount of support they put into Epic 7 to FGO, it's kind of sad. You know, we got our new welfare where they can't be bothered to reanimate anything, and Epic 7 does just like way more effort into their unit animations and stuff, but then just they've actually added game modes. And you have story replay, a new game plus. Meanwhile, we get to replay like 5 stages for a week, once a year. It's like awesome. I swear if we lose this stage, I mean we shouldn't, because they're just archers now. Why do you guys hit so hard? She just got one shot. Or one turned, I should say. Oh yeah, we have Hercules, we're fine. But, what the fuck? It's like, hi guys, oh, okay, no, I'm gone. I mean, everybody gets the memorials, so just like a default thing. I just don't give a flying fuck because I've done them like 80 times. Like, the anniversary event memorial stages are some of the worst content in the game because it's a good idea, or actually it's not. I mean, the more I think about it, the more like insulting they are. It's like, there's no reason we shouldn't have story replay. There's none. There's literally no reason this game should not have story replay, especially after 5 fucking years. And they try to sell us as a hype point the ability to replay like 3 or 4, you know, and right now I think there's like 8 or something, but you know, a handful of boss fights for a week. It's so stupid, and they just bring back the same ones like all the time. Like these ones are slightly different, but you know the amount of value like on the bosses it's literally the same thing. Like it's not any different. And then it's like with NA got them multiple times, right? Because they did that like world tour thing where they just did the anniversary event early, and then they did the anniversary again for real, and then you know having just done it on JP. Like I am so tired of anniversary events. Like I'm so over them because it's like I between JP and NA I've done the same memorial stages so many times. Like the amount of times I have seen that stupid ass Saber Altar boss fight is insanity. Like I've seen it like 9 times now. Like I'm pretty bored of that, right? And they just keep bringing it back, and it's like I don't care, right? Like it's dumb, and it's like it's something that should just be in the game by default. Like they add, you know, it's not even story replay. You get to replay a couple of stages, and almost never the good ones. I like how later on they bring back Asclepius. They bring back the Asclepius boss fight, which no one even remembered was a boss fight, right? It's basically a trash stage. You know, but no, you don't get to replay Godjuna though. No, you Asclepius though. That's what y'all wanted. It's like, now how about you give us story replay so we can actually play the stages we want instead of you guys picking a handful of stages that we get to play for a week. Like, it's just crazy. And I'm not asking for a lot. Like, I'm sitting here ranting, but like I'm trying to get like, you know, a country's independence or something. No, it's like story replay. The most basic ass thing that basically every game on the planet has. It's like, yeah, you can just play the game. You know, I can go to Steam and buy like fucking Sonic Adventure and I can replay the story missions. Because it wasn't developed by children, right? So it's like, and like every other mobile game, I can't think of any other mobile games you can't replay the story. And what's sad is in most other mobile games, replaying the story is pointless because most mobile games are so progression based, right? You're always you're on the treadmill constantly, and so the old content becomes irrelevant and like trivial, and so there's no point in going back and replaying things. But in FGO, you know, pretty much Babylon and on, you know, things remain relevant for the most part. Because like obviously Lost Belt 5 is way harder than Babylon, but the stat line of the enemies is pretty much the same. You know, what makes it harder is the gimmicks and that kind of thing. And so this game I think would benefit from story replay more than just about every other game, and it's the one that doesn't get it for some reason. What do I bring for this one? My God, I need to level some things. You know what? I'm no. We're not doing that. I want normal card damage. For the charisma, basically. I'm tired though of bitching about story replay, but it's like, it's kind of like this is how I see it. I think this is the best analogy I got. It's kind of like, you know, you're trying to build a house, right? And the builders keep just somehow forgetting to make the walls. right? You know, they do the floor and they try to do the roof, but it's just on top of the floor, right? And it's like, this isn't quite right? You know, there's some basic fundamentals here that are lacking, and then so, you know, you go through 5 years of this and they still haven't built the walls, and it's kind of like, are you kidding me? Dragons, I swear, you fight dragons in every single singularity, I'm pretty sure. At least in the early ones. And it's not like, okay, if we were getting other things, if they supported this game really well and we had other things, I could let it slide, you know. But we don't have a boss rush mode. We don't have a challenge tower. We don't have, you know, any of these. We have dailies and free quests. Because, you know, that's riveting content. When I summon a new unit, like when I got Romulus, you know what I wanted to do, chat? I wanted to rush off and go do some free quests. That's an awesome way to use your new unit, right? Totally. Yeah, that Romulus was the most recent example of that. That happens almost every time I get a new unit I like, because very rarely is a new unit that I like added at a time that you're actually allowed to do anything fun. And I get it, a lot of people, they don't care about challenge quests and main story and Setsubun and all those things. They like the progression and progressing for the sake of progressing and all that stuff. That's not me, but I get that there's a lot of people like that, and that's fine. That's fine. It's very easy to support both, though. It's not like it's complicated to maintain the ability to progress and work on units and farm and stuff, and then also have things to do for fun. It's not even remotely difficult. Like, I swear to God, if the JP anniversary is just memorial battles again, I'm gonna lose my mind. And like, even if they pick good memorial battles, it's like it's more insulting than anything. It's like a preview of what you could have, but you know, you only get it for a week. Like, if they add Zeus, I'm just gonna be sad, because it's like, yeah, I'd love to be able to fight Zeus and test out different things and do a Boudica setup or whatever, but like, you only get to do it for a week. So, maybe I should have waited a turn to do that. I mean, she'll get her NP in time, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I should have waited a turn there. No reason to remove my buff there. Don't kill Mozart. Well, that's the thing. It's like, there's a really big difference between adding systems like grails and command codes and faux pas. You know, that's very different from adding actual gameplay stuff. You know, it's a totally different thing. And really, I do think at this point they really can't. I think they could maybe add like maybe one more thing, like maybe NP customization or craft essence customization or something like that. They could do something in that department. But yeah, they can't really. When it comes to like being able to max out a unit, there's enough stuff now. Like, really, you got 2K foe, you've got the faux pas, which the faux pas system is kind of whack, but it is what it is. You got command codes, you have grailing, and then leveling your craft essences, right? That's more than enough. And Bond 15, I guess that doesn't really make the unit better though, but that's a thing, I guess. But there's not much else they could even add. And I mean, they could, but it just started to be really bad power creep. Like, they did 3K foe, right? Or grailing to 110 or whatever. That's too much. Like, honestly, I think it'd be fine if you could grail a 1-star to 110, but anything beyond that, you know, it would be dumb. Like, and imagine an NP5 5-star with 3K foes. and they're level 110. Like that's a stupid amount of power. I do find it funny that the alien, like, we never got to see B7 as B7. We've only ever seen B. Wow. Well, that's a great NP, Uji. But yeah, we never got to see B7 as B7. We got to see Alien God as B7, so that was pretty lame, especially because they had hyped it up at the end of 1.0. Oh yeah, my 100 base is still NP1. That's right, I forgot about that. This isn't going very well. Yeah, I wish Bedivere had his third skill, Airy. Then he could actually, you know, protect somebody a little bit. That would be good. Yeah, I kind of want to roll just so I can get my 3-star MP ranks up, honestly. Yeah, Jack's skills are really good. Evade, which is just, you know, living. That's always, evade and vulnerability is always super good. Quick up, she's got a quick NP, that's super good. Buff removal, that's super good. Like, it's perfectly fine. Jack is to this day one of the best assassins in the game. Like, even if the boss is not female, Jack has a... Like, I always do with Uriel, right? If Uriel's not fighting a male, she's trash. I mean, she's absolute trash. She has no survivability, not good damage, no real utility. If she's not fighting a male, Uriel pretty much does nothing. She's actually one of the worst archers in the game if you're fighting a female or a genderless or something like that. Very bad. With Jack, if the enemy's male, she's fine. Like, Jack is still fine when it's not her niche. She still does really well. She still makes stars for days. She still gets her NP super fast. Her NP still does decent damage. She has good survivability and some solid utility. So she's still good. And then if they are female, then she's super good, right? Like, so she works out way better in that kind of niche. And she scales really well with Scatty. She's one of those units that, like, yeah, Scatty can make her super broken and she can use constantly NP and everything, that's great. But if you don't have Scatty, Jack still does really well. Because there's a lot of DPS that, without Scatty, they're not so good. But she's not one of those. And they're really liking this Lancer Saber combo. I wish I had ley line unbroken. I know I say that every stream, but it's getting really annoying. Either that or if I just gotten an imaginary element. Either way, I would have been good. Yeah, Mordred's the next major boss. Actually, this might be Mordred. I know you fight her soon. I know you do fight her one time, I think, with Trash. Oh, this is not good. If this is Mordred, I should have put George up and then replaced by Robin. Names, how do they work? Don't need to NP right away. You know, Bedivere, if you could do your NP interlude, that would be swell. We might even lose this because I think Robin's gonna die if we don't get lucky. Actually, I could have killed them both that turn. I should have done Caesar's NP. Don't do it. Don't. Of course. Damn, dude. I love the damage difference there between the Saber and the Archer. Yeah, I know. Story supports, man. They don't really do that anymore. Thankfully, when they do story supports now, for like Lost Ball 5 and stuff, they make them like proper units. Like they finally realized there's no reason to make the story support. Okay, well, but yeah, there's no reason to make the story supports like a billion times worse than the regular units. And it's just silly too, because why would you even summon them? Because like I think some of it is because in the really early days. By the way, Robin's a little bit, but in the early days of FGO, you know, like on JP, it wasn't like this on NA because NA had a lot of power creep because NA had dailies immediately and a lot of other stuff. But seriously, NA early days were just so different from JP's. But anyway, on JP, like when they were making Oceanus, for example, they were basing these things off of like what the average player base was like. And the typical thing you could summon on your support list on the early days of FGO, like, you know, when Oceanus was released, was pretty weak. Like, I know in NA it was like all level 80s and 90s already, but, so they kind of always had that mindset with story supports where they didn't want them to, like, carry you, but they wanted them to be kind of like average. But they're not average. They're so far below average. I mean, look at this. Look at this. This Bedivere, even with the CE, like compared to, you know, literally anything else on my, I mean, it's like he's so much weaker. Like it's not even comparable. We actually don't really need George, although we need someone to die so we get a switch. So, yeah, Robin versus Lancers. Not great. Like, I don't want the story supports to be broken and, like, make trivialized content, but you don't want them to be so weak that they don't do anything either. They should just be, like, a normal unit. Like, this should just be a level 70 Bedivere that's like, you know, maybe 666 or 10-10-10, you know, with a normal CE. That's it. Like that, you don't need anything fancy. Yeah, I'm really not one of those people that wants other people to be miserable. That's not really a thing. Also, overwhelmingly, I think most people actually are getting scatty. It's like so many people get scatty and they don't say a damn thing, right? And then, but if the people that are in the negative, they're more likely to say something. That's always how it is. Like, it's just math with how much SQ they gave out, and there's more SQ coming and more summon tickets coming. And then, you know, some people, I don't know, I've seen a lot of people that didn't save a single SQ, but they had their heart set on Scatty. I'm like, you're just a fucking idiot. But anyway, if everyone that got the SQ rolled, well over 50% of the player base would get Scatty. Like, it's just math. Obviously, you're gonna have, you know, outliers where people get abnormally lucky or abnormally unlucky, but the player base as a whole, well over 50% of the player base should get Scatty if they want her. Though a lot of people aren't gonna roll, or, you know, will use some of their skills for something else or whatever. I am shocked at how many people I've seen though that really wanted Scatty and they didn't save up any SQ. None. And they're just using the default SQ they gave out. Like I can't fathom that. Like that's stupid. You knew 2 years in advance. 1 ticket, no Scatty, indeed. You knew 2 years in advance. Like you could have saved up so much. And you know, some people don't really care about Scatty that much, which, you know, fair enough. But then you shouldn't complain. There's no reason to get salty about what other people get. Like, I've seen people get, like, servants that I super dislike, like Benny, but they're super happy that they got it, and so I'm happy for them. Like, why wouldn't you be? Like, it doesn't make any sense. That's how people get, like, Romulus a lot easier than I did. But, I mean, good for them. Like, and as a joke, you might say something, right? But in, like, seriousness, it's not a big deal. It's like if somebody burns Coup, I'm not mad. Like, why would I care? I swear, aren't we supposed to teach this to people in kindergarten? I didn't actually go to kindergarten, so I don't know. But I'm pretty sure we ooh. That looks so cool, though. It's really hard to be mad about. And then I'll just... Could you know, maybe hit Bedivere once? I like how Caesar had his NP, had his skills and all that, and just, nope, I don't even care about counterclassing. I'm just disappointed. This is... What the fuck, man? Can we just kill this guy? Holy crap, dude. Dude's worse than Gwaine. This is not great. I like how I don't even have his NP. Oh, we need the attack down. Wonky turn, but gotta get the NP gain. I don't think they have magic resist, so they can't guard it. Like, now I get it, if somebody's trying to be antagonistic, like they're trying to piss people off, you know, when they're saying, oh, I burned this thing or that thing, that's different. But it's not because they actually burned something, it's because they're trying to be a dick. That's the problem. It's kind of like if somebody, like your friend is like, oh, fuck you, right? It's just, you know, friendly banter. They're not actually insulting you. They're not insulting you, right? It's a joke. Where if some random guy in the street is like, you know, all hateful and is like, oh, fuck you, that's totally different, right? So like intent and context is what actually matters. The flavor really doesn't. I don't understand. How do I not have any Robin NP gain on the second turn here? Like, what the fuck? Just backload everything, game. Give them the maximum amount of time to kill Robin. And then I like how the turn where I was guaranteed to get... I hate this game. I'm sure I can win, but I just fuck this game. Really? Like the turn I'm guaranteed to get a bunch of Robin NP gain, then Bedivere dies and the deck gets shuffled. And then of course it doesn't shuffle and give me Robin NP. No. Okay. This is getting annoying. Okay, definitely cutting that. I cannot believe how badly they did against the 2 Lancers at the start. I don't know why that went so bad. This is where I wish I had Shakespeare's 3rd skill. Do I have to do this? Like I think I had to do this. Okay, they're humanoid, that helps. No, I don't want to use Hercules for trash, but I want the bond. Saber Lily, yeah, that's the one. She's like level 4. See, what you do is you bring Saber Lily so they're distracted with how bad she is. I just like how our Caesar died from full health to death on the turn that he had his NP, so he didn't actually do anything. That was pretty bad. I actually think we wait to taunt on George. Alright, I'm taking this seriously now. We're gonna pay attention. I'm gonna stop bitching about random things. I like how I'm trying to keep George alive so I can use his taunt for their NP, and it's just like, are you sure about that? I'm actually healing George. We're at that. That's the point we're at. We're healing George. We never do that. Actually, we do, but not in this setup like this. You heal George in setups where you're trying to get him to taunt multiple times and just keep being tanky. Maybe I should have waited one turn. This is a really bad damage combo, but I want to get as much Caesar MP gain as I can. That's not good. Okay, Bedivere. Use your roided up arm. That could have been better. Okay, just kill the one and we're good. Do I seriously do this combo to give Caesar 1 NP gain? I don't think so. I don't think we're that deprived. Okay, Caesar can't die this time. How about that? This should have been Robin this time, because I played George differently, that should have been Robin. And now he's not gonna do anything. I overreacted. Those guys, this stage has legitimately been harder than Gwaine. Like, the only reason we did Gwaine so much was we just wanted to do different setups and stuff. Like, it wasn't actually hard. It was more like just trying to mess around with handicaps and that kind of bullshit. Where this, I mean, I would have won last time, like, absolutely, but I couldn't have any of that. If I wait to NP until Bedivere gets his, yeah, I think so. It's not like. I mean, surely Bedivere's not gonna die this turn. So that guy has the danger tag. So I guess we try to fuck him up. Should do more damage than the other one. And he's 4 levels higher. There's not a lot of point to save the attack up for Robin because he'll one-shot them anyway, but it's not going to be enough to kill here. One day Caesar will get his attack buff. It's actually not that far off, really. Oof. I'm not using his defense skill because I want somebody to die. Honestly, my Saber bros actually did pretty well considering they're not counterclassing. Only bad thing is Robin's kind of showing up right as the NP, but he's got his evade, so it's alright. But I mean, the danger tag doesn't inherently do anything, it's just it can indicate what DW decided to do. Because they can give the enemies whatever stats they want. And they do that all the time. It's not like the levels are consistent in any way. And we fought all kinds of things that are higher than level 42, but are like hilariously weaker than these guys. That's what I would have done if I was him. Saving Bedivere because I want the EMP up. Alright, that was a pain, but it was way better. Camelot Knights, man. You know what's funny? I'm actually really happy about this, chat. I'm legitimately very happy about this. Okay, so I've said before, you know, I'm really tired of the Saber Ultra Challenge quest. I've done it like 30,000 times, and I never liked it to begin with, because it's either you cheese it or you stall it. It's like that's it. You either cheese it or you stall, and I don't like either of those things. So I've never liked that challenge quest very much. But and I've done it like a billion times. So I mean that is without question that's the challenge quest that's been in the game the most, because it's been on JP and NA, and I play both. And then they brought that challenge quest back more than any other. And then that's kind of exacerbated by the fact that it's on JP and NA. And then NA got it an extra time because of the World Tour event thingy. But I actually, this is hilarious, and it just shows how just stupid this requirement is. But I can't do Saber Alter on my NA account right now because I haven't beat Abigail. Like I have, but I always cancel the app. Like I'm keeping the Abigail boss fight around. So every time I beat it, I just close the app and restart and cancel it. So I can go back and fight that boss anytime I want. And because I technically haven't beat her, I can't beat the memorial version of that stage, which means I can't do the Saber Alter fight. Even though I've literally beaten that challenge quest like many times in the past on that same account, but because the requirement changes, even though it's the same challenge quest, I can't. I don't care though. I'm actually happy. I'm like, fuck it. Because I'm not getting rid of the Abigail boss fight that I have permanently just so I can do Saber Alter for the billionth time. Like fuck that. And now no one can bug me about it, because if someone bugs me about it, I can just say fuck you, and that's that. So I'm actually so happy about that. Yeah, I realized that last night, and I'm like, I am so okay with this. I am so okay with this. If I never had to do that challenge quest again, I am so sick of doing double David and a bunch of casters. Like that's literally how you beat it with a budget setup, and I'm so tired of doing that because it takes like 50 turns. Like who the I do like Black Grail David. That's literally what I do, and it works. It's the worst thing ever. Let's see. It's actually easier now too because you have a VC Brawn, so you can have like a VC Brawn with the auto taunt. Like having Poster Girl without having Poster Girl. Alright. I was literally clicking Bedivere because I was like, oh, Bedivere doesn't make any sense here. I should switch to like 100 Fates. Stuff like that. I have to bring that. Feels bad. I'm like, wow, this Bedivere sucks. I have like no general use servants right now. I need like Leonidas or something. Guys, there we go. It's so consistent. I'll just do this for the crits. Yeah, it's really nice if you get Scatty right away because you have no need to get her in P2. Like, there's no need for it at all. So like when I got Romulus, when I got my first multi, I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta go for NP2 because I really like Romulus, and it took forever to get NP2. But so my good luck on that first Romulus, you know, was kind of evened out by my really bad luck on the second Romulus. But if you get lucky on Scatty, you don't have to test your luck again, right? You're done. You're NP1, you're fine. There's no reason to go for NP2. The only reason to go for NP2 is if you want to be able to go over 100% NP in case you're like an NP drain effect and then you want her to get her NP, but you almost never want Scatty's NP. It is almost never worth a fuck. And when you do use it, the crit buff being slightly stronger is so irrelevant. Like, it just doesn't matter at all. Mothman is fine at NP1, but he's definitely better at higher NP ranks. You can do what he's supposed to do. I swear, almost everyone calls him that. I see very sure that everyone calls him Mothman. Like, if you're wanting him to, like, solo and stuff, you're really gonna want NP5, because you're gonna need every bit of damage you can get. But if you're using him in a team context, it really doesn't matter. I just, you know, it's good enough at NP1. But yeah, it's certainly nice to have the better crit damage on him, but... And what... Oh yeah, his attack up is the overcharge. If the attack up was the NP rank, that'd be way more reason to do it, but... Okay, let's, I guess... Trying to get Q and P here. I could have done way more damage to them than that, but... Get some NP gain going here. What? Taiga? Taiga's... I mean, she's good. She's just not nearly as good as, like, Ku. That's, like, the main problem. But she's good. She's, like, totally usable. And the one thing she does have going for her is the fact that, and thank goodness, by the way, she's not a quick unit. She's a buster unit. So what kind of supports you have, you know, kind of change who's good. And so if you've leveled up Shakespeare, Qin Gong, and maybe you're summoning your friend's Merlin, or you have Merlin and stuff, then you're really favoring buster units, right? You can enable buster units a lot better. And so because she's a buster unit, and if you're doing a buster team, or you just happen to have buster supports, then she's generally going to be better. Although Ku is really good if with and without supports, it's kind of his shtick. But still, she can excel with buster teams, where Ku doesn't synergize with buster teams in any way. Obviously, you know, Ku is better if you have, you know, Scatty and, you know, Woo or whatever, you know, more quick related stuff. But she kind of has her own thing because she's, like, really the only really strong buster budget lancer at single target. But long story short, she's good, but she is noticeably behind a lot of the other 3-star Lancers. And a big part of that is just because her cooldowns are so long. Like, and she doesn't have an upgraded NP. And see, people hear that and they act like not having an upgraded in, like in my tier list video, people act like if I say that, I'm saying that not having an upgraded NP makes you bad. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying with her kit, not having an upgraded NP is bad. Because she doesn't have, like, enough value. It's not like, oh wow, Taiga's so good, but oh darn, she doesn't have an upgraded NP. It's like, no, she's not really blowing anyone away. She has a lot of problems because her cooldowns are really long and her effects aren't quite strong enough, and she doesn't have an upgraded NP, right? Like, if she had an upgraded NP, that would help offset some of the other problems, right? But she doesn't have that. Where you have other people that have, you know, toolkits that don't have a million turn cooldowns, and they also have upgraded NPs and other things going for them and stuff. Like, a unit can absolutely be very good without an upgraded NP, but if a unit's already kind of meh, and then they also don't have an upgraded NP, it's like, this really isn't looking so good. Nice start up. But even Lancelot, like even Saber Lancelot, he'd obviously be better if he had an upgraded NP because he spams his NP. So that bonus damage, if you know, because seriously, a lot of units only use their NP once in a stage, and that's it. So let's say they gain 15k, 20k on an upgraded NP, they're doing 15 to 20k more damage. That's it. But if the NP 3 times, that's way more damage now, right? So the more NP spammy you are, the better it is. And obviously doing 15k more damage or 20k or whatever, that's still good, obviously. But it's not always going to be the be-all, end-all. Yeah, there's just no way around it, and a lot of people just did not understand this, but there's just no way around it. Having an upgraded NP is an objectively good thing. That doesn't mean that you can't be really good without one, and you can't be really bad with one. There's plenty of... Hyde has an upgraded NP, okay? He's not good, though, right? But it's always worth noting, if you have a unit that's kind of they're kind of mid-tier, and then they don't have an upgraded NP, and then you have another unit that has a lot of good things going for them, and they have an upgraded NP, right? It doesn't look so good. And even if the unupgraded NP hits harder, because that can happen. Sometimes the unit's toolkit or stat line or whatever, or NP type would result in a non-upgraded NP hitting harder than an upgraded NP. That alone isn't going to make you a good unit. It's like, oh, okay, like this unit does slightly more NP damage than Fuma. That's not enough to make you better than Fuma, because Fuma does okay NP damage, and that's noteworthy, but then he also does a lot of other stuff, right? And if you don't do other stuff to more than make up for the damage difference, right, then you're not great. Yeah, Sanson, that's a thing. There's a lot working against him there, because he has a really bad stat line. He has a very bad stat line, and he's Buster, and Buster NPs do the least damage. So, and he generally doesn't have any damage up skills unless the enemy is evil or human, because all those humans you fight. So yeah, even though he's got an upgraded NP, everything is against him. Worst NP type for raw damage, no damage up skills, lower attack stat than a lot of 1-stars, even though he's a 2-star. So the end result is he don't do so good on the damage. Like, I try to get Bedivir's NP, then NP with everybody. Hopefully Bedivere doesn't just instantly die here. Well, because Bedivere crit, I didn't have to put all that effort into getting his NP. I could have done a more damage combo, but... So doing Kuz first because he does defense down, which will make the other people hit harder, and then I'm doing Bedivere last because his overcharge is more damage, even though he's being counterclassed, but the total damage will be highest this way. I tell you, she's not really that great right now because we haven't done her NP upgrade and she's NP1. That's the biggest thing, is she's NP1. It's kind of nasty. Poke him in the eye. All these Rongo Bongo craters in the background. I wonder if they're going to show much of like the bombardment stuff in the anime. Like how Giant Eyeball doesn't have his sure hits. Yeah, honestly, for the entire anime, the thing I'm looking forward to the most is Stella versus Rongo Bongo. It's definitely the coolest bit, I think. And I just hope they do a good job with like the fight scenes in general and they're animated well. And more important than that, I hope they're actually pay attention to what the characters do lore-wise. Although, I will say they're kind of fucked. I'll give them some wiggle room here. Because you can only respect what the character's actual abilities are so much when the outcome of a fight is set in stone, right? They don't have any wiggle room with like what happens, really. So regardless of what someone's toolkit is, they have to win here and lose here and so on and so forth based on what the game says. So they're only going to be able to do so well. But hopefully, if you're in that situation, though, you still want to try to make it at least reasonable, right? You don't want to just ignore what characters are supposed to be able to do and that kind of stuff. But we'll see. I have NP5, wait, I have Scatty, NP5 Valkyrie, and NP2 Parvati, so Parvati's still better than Valkyrie when it comes to looping. I mean, it just depends on what you're doing. Like, Valkyrie's better at farming, just because of the way her toolkit is. But for most challenge quests, Parvati's still going to be better, just because Parvati's toolkit is so much stronger. The one exception to that, as I said last time, is the Gilfest challenge quest with Taiga. Valkyrie is so perfect there. She has, like, the perfect toolkit for that boss fight. And you just kill Taiga last. And Parvati, to be clear though, Parvati is still very good for that challenge quest, but that's the one time I've seen Valkyrie be better than Parvati. Like, both Parvati and Valkyrie are very meta for that challenge quest, and they'll make it much easier, and they're like very useful there. But Valkyrie is definitely better. And then for farming, they both can work and they both can loop, and it kind of depends on what you're doing exactly, but generally Valkyrie is better for farming, just because her toolkit is like really good for farming. And a big problem with Valkyrie is, and this is just a thing because of Scatty completely, Valkyrie's cooldowns being so long is a massive con. But it doesn't matter when you're doing Scatty stuff. Scatty setups are designed to win in 3 turns, right? And generally if a Scatty setup doesn't win within 3 or 4 turns, it's going to have a lot of problems no matter what. Unless you're like backing it up then with like Waver and Nero Bride and you know, that kind of, you know, conveyor belt. And so the stage is supposed to be over before Valkyrie's long cooldowns would come into play. So that kind of alleviates that problem with Valkyrie. You know, you can just be really bursty and then you're done. It's like the stage is over, so who cares if you have to wait a million turns for cooldowns to come back. Now without Scatty though, it's a huge problem. And yeah, okay, to be clear, I really like Valkyrie. Like, Valkyrie's cool. I like how they, you know, put a lot of effort into the voice acting for the 3 stages and everything, and their design is fairly reasonable for what they're based on and everything. Obviously, it's, you know, not super traditional, but it was a nice, they did a decent, like, mix, so that's fine. But I hate how they're so bleh without Scatty. Like, they're seriously bleh without Scatty. They're only good because of Scatty, which is not, that's lame. Like, I don't like that at all, and it sucks because they're like never gonna get buffed because of that. But without Scatty, they're pretty shit. And I don't like that. I want them to be good, right? I'd like to be able to use them without Scatty and have them perform well, but that's generally not a thing. Wait, can you summon Plot Monk? No. Yeah, their overcharge is so ridiculous. They have the worst overcharge in the entire game, and that is saying so much. They somehow found a way to have an overcharge that was worse than insta-death. Because at least insta-death is useful every once in a while against like ghosts and skeletons, and sometimes there's even challenge quests that have those things in them. Like there are occasional times insta-death is good. And it can just YOLO proc on a challenge quest and things like that every once in a while. Unbelievably rare, but at least it's something. Where Valkyrie can't even do that because hers is a lower chance and it only works on demons. And I will never understand why they did that. And it'd be one thing if Scatty had already existed and they were like, because you can see this, ever since Scatty, like how broken she is, has become known, or Double Scatty specifically, but ever since Double Scatty's been known to be so busted, every time they release a quick unit now, they're always scaling with them with her in mind. Always. They always do that. Like Voyager, that Voyager's damage is so trash because they know he can loop so easily with Scatty. Right? And like Nightingale, the new Nightingale unit, you know, has really bad gain rate on her NP and stuff because like they're always doing that now. But Valkyrie existed before Scatty, before they realized how busted she was, so she wasn't playable yet. And it's not like they didn't know with their internal testing. It's really obvious they didn't know. Like the next 4 or 5 challenge quests on NA, by the way, you can completely trivialize with double Scatty. You don't need to do anything fancy. You don't need to do double Scatty, poster girl, switch Mysticode, blah 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 blah. All that stuff can help. But like the next few challenge quests are all super fucking easy with double Scatty. But then they realize how busted it is and they start designing challenge quests with that in mind, which is terrible because it's affected challenge quest design so much. And it's wrecked a lot of other units that don't deserve to be wrecked. But it is what it is. That's the main reason I don't like Merlin and Scatty. Because if I don't want to use such OP strong stuff, I can just not use them. That's not an issue. But it affects boss design a lot. It makes a lot of other units bad and I don't like bosses having to be designed around 2 fucking units. And it messing with everybody else. Yeah, Merlin affected CQs dramatically when he was added, and yes, Scatty does as well. Tam is really strong, but she doesn't like break challenge quests generally. She can, sometimes she can. A lot of the 3-turn loopy bullshit you can do with Scatty, you can do with art units too. You just do like Tam stuff, maybe Nero Bride, Hohenheim, those kinds of units. And there absolutely are art units that can loop like crazy. A lot of that has to do with the other art units though, like the DPS. But I've always said I think Tam is really, really strong and one of the best supports in the game. But she's also more reasonable and takes a little bit more thought to use. And yeah, there is some art teams that are really stupid with her, but that's not as big of an issue as I feel as like Double Scatty is and stuff. Although the way it is now, Double Scatty's not even broken anymore. It is for farming, but Double Scatty's not really broken. What's broken now is Double Scatty, Waver, Nero Bride, or maybe not Nero Bride, maybe Chen Gong, or instead of that, maybe Merlin, you know, or things like that. It's having Double Scatty and then a bunch of other of the absolute top tier supports to just keep the ball rolling. Because generally you can't 3-turn with Scatty anymore in a challenge quest. And then when Scatty's out of gas, she has a huge drawback. When she's out of gas, she sucks. Like, she really sucks. Like you got upfront value, then you have nothing. But people make up for that now by just getting rid of her. You know, they use Poster Girl or they switch Mysticode or both, and they just keep replacing in other supports that just keep the train rolling. So you bring 1 DPS and then nothing but supports. But that's been the meta for a while anyway. It's just really broken when all the top supports are as strong as they are. Yeah, they really can't fix the meta of this game. It's not fixable. It really isn't. Well, it is, but the only way to do it is doing things that they absolutely don't want to do, and people would be so mad, and you have to nerf things. That's the only way to do it. The only way you could really get the meta of this game into a healthy state is by nerfing things. And I've always said if you nerf something, a good way to not make people super mad is then you buff those things in other areas. But they don't have, like, I don't think they have good enough game design to be able to do that. But there's a lot of problems with challenge quests nowadays. Like, there really is, just due to how large the power gap difference is between people that have all the broken supports and CEs versus people that are in the middle and then people at the bottom. Like, it makes it very difficult to make boss fights that are good for everyone. You actually can. I have not seen them make a boss fight that's good for everyone in forever. There's no way you're gonna make a boss fight that's interesting for like double scatty, Nero Bride waiver bullshit. You're never gonna make a challenge quest that's hard for that, but then also reasonable for everyone else. You can't do that. It's one or the other. It's either gonna be laughable at the high end, or it's gonna be hard. You can make a challenge quest that's hard at the high end, but then it's bullshit for everyone else. Like, and it's completely unreasonable. So there's just no winning. Hi, Curse Arm. How you doing? Gonna murder my Ushi, are ya? No NP gain for Nursery Rhyme. That's unfortunate. Yep, I wish I could have done that challenge quest more to have a better opinion about it, but I don't really need to because I trust a lot of the other people that know what they're talking about. And I did it one time. And then LOL, you can't repeat it. And so I could clearly see like how fucked the value was and everything. And then you know, all the other budget people had to like do a lot of bullshit to beat it. Nobody really did it legit because you really on the low end because you can't. So yeah, that was a really stupid challenge quest. Because yeah, they were trying to make something that was going to be hard for people that were using double scatty still, right? They wanted it to be hard and use the high end, and I just made it bullshit on the low end. Like, most people that did 1 to 2 star stuff with no grails used command spells. And then like the 1 to 2 star guy, he used grails and he got, oh my god, lucky. And like I'm sure he had to do that over and over and over and over again until he got really good luck. And he had these you know, really strong craft distances. There's no way you're gonna do that without some kind of bullshit on your side. You're gonna have to. And you know, to a degree, I guess that's fine. But I just don't think it was the right balance of things. The other quest that kind of seems that way was the Achilles one, but that's another one I don't really have an opinion on because I didn't really get to do it, so I'm not really sure where that lands on the fucked up barometer. Much as I want NP gain, I also want damage. I really wanted to do art than Nursery Rhyme Buster art, because that's the most NP gain. But, probably should have done it. That damage was not, ooh. Well, no Ushi NP there. Hey, thank you for the resub, man. I'm not even gonna try to say that name. It's like the hit something. Not capital letters again. Man, this is going really badly. The world conspired to, even though we have so many art cards, like all the art cards were in the back and then the deck shuffles right before I get access to them and so on and so forth, so it's taking forever to get my NP. But if you kill Mozart, I swear to God. I think we're gonna lose. I didn't realize this was a boss fight and this team is just trash. Like we have one unit on the whole team that can do anything to the boss. Yeah, Super Orion is actually pretty good for the way that boss fight is, but that doesn't help because most people don't have him, and it's not like Super Orion on his own is just gonna suddenly beat it for you. But I barely did that challenge quest, so I don't know how hard it is and unreasonable it is for low stars in comparison to all of the other stuff. I'm getting pretty tired of summoning story supports now, and we're kind of at the point where it's just not reasonable because they don't do anything. Like they do nothing. It's just a dead space on the team. Like yep, a fucking saber that does not have his skill ranks leveled up worth a fuck. It does not have his third skill. It just doesn't do anything. Like it's a nothing unit. I don't want to summon anything that's gonna like super carry though, but I just want something like a regular fucking unit. We'll do Medea. I feel like that's fair. We'll do Babbage. Let's just do Babbage. We don't use him enough. The problem with Babbage is anytime I want to use them, I have to log on my ult account, and I don't want to log on my ult account, but I need to just level my Babbage on my main account. Like, actually have leveled him, he's level 70, but his skill ranks are trash, because you don't need Babbage very often, you just don't. And when you do need him, I got him on my ult account with decent skill ranks, so I just always use that one. But I never have my ult account up, so, like, I do if I'm playing my main account, but if I'm playing another ult account, I have my main account up, so it's kind of a pain. Actually, to be honest, Shimosa is not going to be that bad, because as dumb as Masashi is, you gotta I gotta put this in perspective. Everyone harps on the Masashi stuff because that's one of the only times people have actually been forced to use the story support. Do you think anybody was summoning Bedivere for this stage? Like literally anyone, right? Like nobody does that, so they don't even notice. There are way worse story supports than Masashi, way worse. The only reason she stands out is just because she's the only one people actually use, because you have to. Like earlier they wanted you to use fucking Da Vinci against her counter class, right? Just like straight up, right? Like, what? It's like that's so pointless. I think I added my ult account. There we go. That's a pretty reasonable unit. Okay, definitely no Ushi. I thought it was gonna be some random assassin trash and then a berserker at the end. And I'm like, oh, Ushi will do really well against berserkers because she's MP4, upgraded MP already, you know. Okay. Yeah, it's true, new players can't have golden sumo, but they also can summon level 90, you know, God Junas and plot monks and Ilias and 2 altars and stuff, and that's what all of them do. I don't think a 70 Babbage with golden sumo is all that threatening in comparison to all the other shit people use. Babbage! Bro! Like, let's dial it back a little bit there. I know I'm one to talk, but like, damn. Yeah, I can see Karna being pretty good there. Divine just comes up so much. There's more people with Divine than there is any of a single class, right? Like nobody says, "Oh man, Lancers suck because they're only good if you fight archers." Nobody says that, right? And Divinity is more common than a counter class, right? It's more common. And then even more so than that, boss fights are generally dictated by the story. And the story has really focused on a lot of characters that have divinity because they're generally very prominent characters and stuff. So there's a real disproportionate representation of divine servants versus how many of them are actually in the game. So having anti-divine niches is pretty solid. Kinda wish George had actually died there. And yeah, that's a part of why Arjuna's CE is so good, yeah, because yeah, Divinity's very common. Despite all that, Nobu is still garbage. Unfortunately, that's true. Gonna get fixed one of these days, right? Like surely they wouldn't leave her unbuffed forever, right? I was really hoping to kill that guy. He's the one person that can really fuck up my casters. No crit. Oh my god. I specifically asked you not to crit, sir. You're gonna have to leave. That really sucks. That's that puts Babbage really behind there. Wow, I can't believe it took all that. Should have done Nursery Rhymes Buster first. This is going very badly. The thing is, even against a Rider Divine Servant, she's not very good. She just isn't. Because her toolkit is awful. And no amount of big boy damage on an NP is going to suddenly make a unit that's trash good, right? You need more than that. And also, she's AoE. That's the thing. Like, she's so behind. Like, wow. If you get your perfect niche, you get to be single target damage. When you could have just brought an actual single target unit. And then her toolkit's still terrible. Like this does not make me be like, oh yeah, this unit's good. Like not at all. Like it's still pretty bad. So I really hate having to cast this right now. If I was gonna cast it, I should cast it a while ago. But I don't need Babbage, you know, dying. The only time Nobu can like actually okay, if they have Divine in Writing, she can perform all right, and if you give her proper support, you know, she won't be like a complete shit show. But I mean, there's still loads of other units that are gonna do better than her, right? The one time she can actually be good is if it's an AoE boss fight, someone has Divine Writing, that she's not counterclassing, and then there's someone else that she is counterclassing. So then when she AoEs, like trying to break 3 health bars at once, she's getting really big damage, because in AoE challenge quests, the enemies have less health, generally. Right, so the AoE damage on your counterclass alone is generally enough to do really well. And then the one that you're not counterclassing and generally you would not be able to break their health bar, oh, but they have Divine Writing, so she still does really big damage. And maybe the other one happens to be a Berserker or something. So then she's able to like do huge damage to everybody, right? That's legitimately good, but you could have just used Gilgamesh and gotten that damage against all 3 targets. So, yeah. And I'm going to remind everyone now that they buffed Summer Nobu instead of regular Nobu. So there's a really big part of me that wants to do art up from Mozart and not do Nursery Rhymes NP and use, you know, I'm doing it. I'm doing this just to get like loopy Babbage. Let's go. Also, I'm super curious as to what's going to happen here because I want to know. Wait, hold on. We really gotta have Mecha music. I'm trying to I can't find the song. I'll just grab whatever from Super Robot Wars. There we go. That works. The fuck is this song? Oh, I know what this is now. This is from Super Robot Wars, but it's the instrumental opening from Gundam 0080, which is like a crazy old anime. This is absolutely Mecha. And actually, this is, for the era, this is very much how a lot of Mecha music sounded. A lot of the older Mecha music is kind of out there, man. Well, Babbage did good damage. He didn't loop his NP, but... Yeah, retro Mecha. But I mean, Babbage is steampunk, so... So I have a lot of like memes in my videos where like every time something happens, I'll do something right, but they don't come up very often. And Babbage is one of those things. Every time Babbage NPs, be it enemy or friendly, I always use a random mecha song. And sometimes I put quite a bit of effort into picking which one. And that's actually one of my favorite things ever. It comes up so rarely because Babbage isn't in videos that often, but I always enjoy that like so much. And especially because only a few people notice it unless I mention it. Because there's such a large gap in between Babbage videos. Again, even if he's an enemy, it's pretty rare that we see Babbage. Most people don't pick up on it, so that's something I've always really enjoyed. Actually, it's not really being reasonably leveled, it's just being a DPS caster at all. that's the thing. Yeah, his sound effects are something. Oh yeah, she can drain their NP, which is actually... Well, actually, it's kind of bad here, but it's not really, because see, we needed to evade there anyway, and then we can have invulnerability, so... Not a big deal. I should have healed Nursery Rhyme in case he gets insta-deathed. Yeah, he's got way better animations than day one animations, so it's still been nice if he got an update. So I am going to have to not do Babylon for a while because there's just no way I could do Babylon without getting carried a lot because I just haven't leveled anything yet. Like I need to just like take a week and farm because this account is really behind on the farming. This is actually kind of funny. That's a story support that's usable. That's a thing. And before the boss is a fucking assassin again and not a berserker or something. I was about to be Ushi, but I think we don't. Also, another issue, it's not even our levels, it's the numbers. Like, I only have one of each thing. You can get by with a level 50 caster, but you need like 2 of them, like 2 DPS casters at level 50. You know, like that's the thing, and I don't. I only have like 1 of everything, so. Because I don't have the XP to do more than that. Yeah, I could, literally everything that's given me trouble, I could just wreck with Hercules, but, I don't want to do that yet. In terms of practicality, though, Hercules really would make it easy to get through all this. Level 55 Hans taking on Enforcement Knights. Bye, George? What the fuck? He just got triple crit. I don't even. I don't need half AP to farm. I mean, the issue hasn't been running out of AP. The issue has just been not farming. Like, I'm not even at the level where, like, I can still, like, do things and, like, level up really fast so you get, like, AP refills all the time. Like, we're still at that. That's how little I've played this game. We're still at that point. The thing is, most people are not going to have Hercules' Bond CE in Arc 1. Like, maybe, back in the day, sure. Because back in the day, you had to wait months in between stories. So you'd have Bond 10 Herc by, like, London. Right, but the game's not like that anymore. You know, we've used Hercules basically every single stage we've ever done, and he's Bond 6, right? So it's not really the same thing. Like, Herc is good still, like absolutely, but there's a new player is not going to get carried by Herc in that way. Like, you can absolutely get carried by Herc, but it's going to be much harder. Also, Rip not getting freaking 98%. Also, this Arash, I'm so sure, does not have his upgraded NP and is going to do way less damage. Holy crap. Holy crap! Chimeras can't read! I was all like, I can at least overcharge Arash with Nursery Rhyme's NP. Unfortunately, you can't do that if she's dead. I'm just, I think we might be able to win, but that was so unsatisfying. I blame George dying in one turn. That was like the ultimate catalyst for that. No, you're not going to see a second NP out of most of these people. I mean, sometimes you could use Arash for wave 2, especially if he's grailed. A lot of wave 1s, you could... Okay, I gotta be real. A lot of people fucking suck at farming because they just watch whales and they try to emulate them completely, and they end up being unbelievably impractical because of that. Like, a lot of wave 1s, the enemies, like this. Look at this. Look at this. Right? If I'm like an accomplished account, I can... You don't need an NP to clear this, and it won't even take long. It's not. It's like you could probably one-turn this with normal cards, and the off chance that, oh no, you two-turn it, who cares, right? Because a lot of people, they sacrifice way too much trying to 3-turn, and they end up like losing a lot of drop efficiency because they're not bringing as many event CEs, or they end up failing to clear the final wave. A lot of times, it's better off just kill wave 1 with normal cards. Right, and then Arash wave 2, and then do like 2 big NPs for wave 3. Because a lot of people aren't going to be able to kill wave 3 with just a single NP. It depends on how hard the stage is, obviously. A lot of easier stages, yeah, sure, you just, NP with Arash, then NP with someone else, then NP with someone else, and that's that. No problem. But that's not always the case. I see so many people fuck up farming because they're trying to emulate whale setups too much, but they can't, and they use Arash for wave 1 when they should use them for wave 2 or something. Like. And yeah, sometimes you can do a Rosh wave 1, Spartacus wave 2, and then your one like big DPS wave 3. There's you can absolutely use a Rosh in wave 1. Anyway, I do think Arash is a pretty good Grail target because he has a lot of use outside of just LOL farming. He's very good at challenge quests too. He just does a fuckload of damage, right? And then he gets even more damage if you Grail him. And also, if you're wanting to wait a while to use his NP, you'll get more out of him while you're waiting because his stats are higher, and he won't randomly die because his health is higher, right? So he's a good Grail target. He's not necessarily the best Grail target in the game. He's not the best boom for your buck ever, but he's fine. But yeah, if you're literally stuck on like a farm, like right, I would never say Grail Arash for one stage that you're not 3-turning right now. It's like, oh wow, I grailed my Arash, I could go from 4-turning to 3-turning for this one event. You should never do that. That's not worth it. Not unless you like Arash. Like, oh yeah, I like Arash anyway. Then yeah, then sure. But yeah, such a short-term thing is not worth it, I don't think. There's really no point in giving people advice on grailing, though. You can give them insight. You can give them insight about like how different things scale, you know, when something might be useful, that you might not think of, things like that. But grailing is so subjective because some people, you know, it's like how most people care some degree about character and gameplay, but the ratio is all over the place. You know, and then you have gameplay as in farming, and then gameplay as in challenge quests, or a mix of the two. So people are just all over the goddamn spectrum. And the most common advice is grail who you like, but I think that's terrible advice, because some people prefer gameplay, and that's okay. You're not a bad person if it's like, because you see that constantly. You see like on Reddit and shit, you see people just constantly like advocating for, yeah, just grail the people you really like, and it's stupid to grail for gameplay and stuff. It's not stupid to grail for gameplay. What's stupid is grailing for reasons you don't actually agree with. You should always grail for whatever you care about. Wherever you land on the spectrum of gameplay, character, animations looking cool, challenge quest, farming, you know, it's completely up to you, right? So yeah, I think it's fine though for people to discuss, you know, like what's good in what context, and like I said, give insight and whatnot. But unless you know someone really well, there's no way to give them advice, because you don't know why they play the game and how they play the game and who they like and who they don't like. There's no way to know. And like, I don't know if I'm the only one like this. I've never really seen anyone else like this quite. But my main thing is, especially with my early grails, it's a bit different now because I've kind of already got Billy and Sanson and Ku up. But I've always grailed with a real like ratio of how much I like them versus how much do they need it. You know, like it took me years to grail Mordred, even though I really liked Mordred. Like Mordred's one of my favorite characters, but she was really low on the totem pole. You know, I grailed so many things before her because she's a 5-star and she does really well anyway. I wasn't like, oh man, I can't fight Lancers with Mordred because she's just not strong enough. That wasn't a thing, right? Meanwhile, with Sanson, it's like, I can't fight Riders even though I am grailed, right? So, you know, Sanson was higher on the totem pole. Sanson life, by the way, it's rough. But yeah, so yeah, certain units need it, right? They need. If you're like, dude, I love Jekyll and Hyde. They're so cool. I know he sucks, but I like him so much, and I want to try to make him work as best as I can. Then you absolutely need to grail him, right? Because he really can't afford not to be. Meanwhile, if you're like, even with someone like Vlad, Berserker Vlad, yeah, Berserker Vlad's a pretty bad 5-star. But it's not, grailing him's not going to affect him that much because he's just going from 90 to 100. That's a pretty minor stat difference. And at least Berserker Vlad can be helpful in just the fact that he does have good stats. Like, I'd say Berserker Vlad, even though he's one of the weaker 5-stars, is absolutely better than Jekyll and Hyde by a lot if they're both at default level. Just because 5-star stats, you know, are good. I'm trying to overcharge Arash. It's not going so good. Extra Vlad's fine. He's fine. His NP damage is a little if you're not fighting evil. If you are fighting evil, though, then his NP damage is really nice. Basically, I want him to get an upgraded NP. That almost completely fixes him. Because then he has pretty solid damage if they're not evil, and then he has really, really nice damage if they are evil. Because right now, if they're evil, it kind of just makes up for the fact that his NP is a little... It makes up for it, and then some. You know, it's a bit extra. But, yeah, it's a bit extra. Anyway, his skills are good. They're kind of wonky, but they're actually good, and there's a lot of cool ways you can use them. So I'd say his skills are good. His stat line is fine. His NP, if you're not fighting evil, is kind of underwhelming. But so yeah, give him an upgraded NP, and he's totally fixed. But he's totally usable. He's totally usable. Like there's nothing wrong with him at all. And he's got the Pierce and Vulnerability thing. He's got some of the best uptime in Pierce and Vulnerability. That's awesome. You know, there's been plenty of boss fights, even against Berserkers, so you can use any class you want, right? Where Invulnerability is like the shtick. So, okay, do I wait? I think this is risky. If I still had Evade, I'd be really okay with waiting to NP. But I really want... No, wait, what am I... No, that's not enough. He's not ranked 10. He's not ranked 10! Story supports! I still think I wait. And just hope he doesn't, get yeeted here. Because we don't have the upgraded NP, I really want the overcharge. Come on, Arash. There we go. Now don't die. You got your defense up. I think we're safe, even if he crits. Alright. Alright, what are we gonna get? Now see, imagine if we did have the upgraded Arash NP, then we'd really be doing some damage here. Do I have this thing set in slow-mo? I think I might. I'm not sure. That's nice though, she overcharges and gives him the defense down. It's just slow. Damn! Alright. Still doing us justice, man. Guys, I can't believe Arash is dead. That's a real, like, disparity between gameplay and story, because then he's in the story after this, like, a lot. Even though you see him die there. And that's what Stella does, so... Unless you give him guts from somebody, it doesn't make a lot of sense. That was the most use. I am not exaggerating. That was absolutely the most use we have gotten out of a story support in all of Camelot. That was actually good. I wish we had Shakespeare though. We use switch Mysticode with Shakespeare, get an extra Buster buff and the battery to turn a % easier. That would be that'd be really good. Or Qingong. Qingong would be good as well. Probably Qingong would be better. More defense, taunt, crit down. Crit down's really good for Chimeras. Qingong should probably be my next leveled unit. Or maybe Arash. I need my own Arash though. I like how I'm not leveling my golds. I guess it's not happening. I'll get to it after I get my basics set up. I really should level Martha though, because she's strong AoE. I need another rider, and she has anti-debuff, and that's huge. Yeah, I know, his MP is at Camelot locked. I'm well aware of that. Don't like whipping the heal, but maybe I can cast. No, I'm not casting it twice. It's level 2, and its cooldown is 8 turns. Okay, I should have saved that. Well, we learned something. Nothing like rank 2 skills, chat. Yeah, no, Martha has so many interludes and strengthening quests. It's kind of ridiculous. See, Nursery Rhyme is just trying to educate people. Gotta teach these chimeras how to read. So, I don't really know. I know how taunt works pretty well, especially when there's no guts. And I know how guts works in a solo completely. But I am so the way enemies interact if a guy has guts and taunt is so inconsistent. I was testing that last night. And I've known this for a while that it's inconsistent, and I thought I had it figured out, but I don't. It's super fucking inconsistent. One of those things. Well, at least we have our NP. I don't know if we're gonna get 200%. So because the Camelot movie got delayed, I wonder what we're gonna get first, Solomon or Camelot. I would imagine Camelot. Because, you know, now I suspect that they've had some staff dedicated to the Solomon anime for a while, even while they were working on Babylon. I suspect they already had a group of people that were just working on the Solomon stuff ahead of time. Like, I doubt Babylon wrapped up, and then they're like, okay, time to start pre-production. I suspect they were already in pre-production. Solomon is in production right now, most likely. Camelot's first. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. Like, I suspect they're already done with pre-production, but I figure Camelot, they've been doing pre-production for forever, and so I like how David is dead. By the way, David showed up and had evade. He had, you know, gave everyone evade, and then still found a way to die. I should have done his defense up. That really sucks. Because I wanted his charisma. Like, even though his charisma's, you know, low rank, it still adds up. That was very unfortunate. We absolutely should kill, so I don't need to cast skills, like defensive skills. Yeah, the only way, now I will say this, I'm not sure we'll get the, okay, this is what I think is going to happen. Camelot 1, Solomon, the Camelot 2. Although, now that I think about it, didn't he say there's a completely different studio working on Camelot 2? So they've been working on Camelot 1 and 2, like, at the same time? Which is unbelievably stupid, by the way. Because, yeah, it lets you, like, doing that allows you to have, like, a better, like, timing. You can have, like, the second movie come out in a reasonable amount of time. But that's so stupid. Like, you're gonna have inconsistency problems, and you're gonna have creative differences. Like, just don't do that. Just have a gap between the two movies. Like, it's okay if you have to wait a year or two. Like, holy crap. Like, that just reeks of trying to, you know, cash in why the IP's hot, you know? And that's generally not good for a good product. Well, no David charisma for us. Yeah, I am worried for Camelot. I hope it's good. I really hope it's good, but yeah, I'm worried. I tell you though, I don't like Camelot's story very much. I really don't. Because it's not Camelot, and it's just this weird, it's such a weird story. It's like I like some of the characters and stuff, just fine, but I like Camelot Zero. Camelot Zero is kind of cool. But the way the whole thing like plays out, and like how it's not in Camelot in any way, you know, it's like this weird hodgepodge of like Jerusalem and Egypt, and then Camelot is summoned into it, and like it's just weird. Like I'm not that interested in it. I do like Artoria Lancer, you know, Rongo Bongo as an antagonist. She had really interesting motivations that were pretty unique. Although I don't expect the anime is actually going to flush that out and like give her a lot of character development with that. Like, they're just going to hide her motivation from you the entire story, and then she'll have one rant at the end before she dies, and that's it. And, like, that kind of sucks. Also, hi, Hercules. We showed up after all the cool stuff happened. There's a lot of truth in that. There's a lot of, like, really cool character development and, like, analysis and stuff that goes on in Camelot Zero. That's pretty awesome, and it kind of sucks. I don't know, maybe the anime will cover Camelot Zero. I suspect if they do, they're not going to show all of it, and it's not going to be like a, they're not going to show it first. It'll be like a flashback, like midway through, and they'll show maybe a few major bits of it. The one thing that I think that might prevent them from wanting to do that is not wanting to design the other version of Richard. They might just not want to touch that 10-foot pole. Yeah, Nursery got yeeted pretty hard there. It was like 8k crit or something. I kind of agree. I think a lot of the Egypt stuff should have been saved for its own singularity. Ozzy's cool and all that. There's no problem with the characters and stuff, but they don't fit very well in the story. They could, but I don't think it was executed very well. There's nothing wrong with like Camelot versus Egypt. That's fine, but they didn't do it right at all. There's just too much going on, and it's really wonky, and it's like it's the most fucked up singularity ever, and it's supposed to be. It's EX ranked. I mean, to this day, it is the most warped singularity. It is so warped, but it's not. It just doesn't make a great story, in my opinion. Cool characters, though. I'm not summoning Bedivere. It's Berserkers, Archers, and Assassins, and they want you to summon a shitty saber. Not that Bedivere is a shitty saber, but this Bedivere is shitty. Yeah, Bedivere is awesome. I'm really looking forward to him in the anime. I'm gonna do Babbage again because he's fairly applicable against everything, and I don't really know what the stage is. And my only support is for art units, and I have so few art DPS that that's not working out great. There's some things at odds there. Yeah, I've often talked about how I don't like how they did Mordred and Camelot. I mean, they get away with it because they make it pretty clear that, you know, it's not normal Mordred and she's pretty warped, and same for Tristan and all the other knights. Just that's what the story is. It's the knights, but they're really twisted. But I don't really like that. Like, cause they basically took all the knights of the round and made them a lot less awesome. Like because the knights, most of the knights of the round are pretty interesting. Like the actual source material for like Tristan and stuff is really interesting, and I want to see that on screen, not this other character that's not actually Tristan, really. That just looks like Tristan. They're just saying it's Tristan even though he's not, right? And I swear they did it because they always do this in FGO. They're too scared of like stepping on other writers' toes, and they don't want to have to do the research, and they want to be able to write whatever they want, and then and have it be in a vacuum, and not have it like not have to worry about characterizing things, you know, in continuity and stuff. And that's why I think they do that a lot. And I don't like it. It's lame. Because yeah, Mordred's awesome and one of my favorite characters, and all of the things that make Mordred awesome is not present in Camelot. This feels like filler. Yeah, I agree. And FGO does that a lot. Like the way they handled APOC characters at the beginning of FGO, you know, they were just afraid of messing something up, and they didn't want to do any. Oh my god, that Tristan customized emote. It's Summer Tristan. We found him, guys. There's the costume. Actually, Gwaine is generally not a dick in Arthurian legend. There's a few legends where he's a dick, but generally he is not. But the original legends are pretty inconsistent because they're written by a million different people with different agendas and views on things. And things changed a lot over time, so there's almost no set in. And there's even Arthur does not have a set in stone character. He doesn't. And a lot of the legends, especially the older ones, he's actually portrayed fairly negatively and is kind of like a really bad husband, and that they're kind of like, you know, trying to justify the Lancelot stuff. But then later on, he's made way more virtuous and stuff. Like they're all over the place in the way all the characters were portrayed. There's a few characters that are I would say are somewhat consistent, but like Green Knight's all over the place. Holy shit! The way Green Knight is portrayed in like Sir Gawain in the Green Knight is completely different to how he was portrayed in the older stories. And then in Arthur and Cromwell, or whatever the hell it's called, although Green Knight kind of behaves similar to how he is in Sir Gawain in the Green Knight, his role in relation to the other knights is completely different. Like, it's completely different. Like, that's how, like, the legends are all over the goddamn place. Like, it's crazy. And Gawain is absolutely no exception to that. Like, Gawain is seriously all over the place. But yeah, it is what it is. But what I'm getting at isn't, because you might say, oh, that's fine then, if Fate's all over the place. It really is not, because Fate is kind of taking their own take on the characters. It's not like they're going, you know, there's a few characters where they kind of have referenced the fact that they're all over the place in legend, or there's so many different versions, like Robin Hood. But like, Robin Hood is Robin Hood. The Robin Hood we know and love, he's a consistent character. He doesn't just randomly act differently all the time, right? The other versions of Robin Hood are just that. They're other versions of Robin Hood. You summon those, they look different, they sound different, they behave different, they're a different character. So if you want to have prototype Mordred in Camelot and have him behave really differently instead, that's fine. But just doing Mordred lol different, right, it's just dumb. And even more so with Tristan, because at least Mordred's got other, you know, she's in other stories, like, you know, APOC and everything, where she's more just Mordred, right? So, you know, Fate has a canonical take on the characters. You know, Galahad is Galahad, and yeah, he's based on the actual stories, but they pick one version and they go with it. You know, Gawain is what he is. The fact that he's all over the place in the legends, it's like they're not referencing every single legend at once, right? So then having the Camelot singularity just be like a fan fiction take on all the Fate characters, I don't really like that, right? Like I said, there's just a lot of things in Camelot I don't like. The only character that's actually true to their character is Bedivere, and that's because Bedivere is the only one that's not really warped. Well, actually, some of the other ones aren't warped either because they didn't take the blessing and all that, but they're not there, you know. Like Percival dies before you get there, and he's implied to just be, you know, Percival as normal. But, you know, we don't get to see even a second of him, so rip that. But yeah, Bedivere's the only one that's really true to his, like, canonical self. And that's kind of why he's best boy in Camelot, really, but, yeah, hopefully we'll get Percival at someday. I will say this. It's almost a badge of honor that the Knights of the Round that aren't in Camelot, because they're the ones that sided with Sir Kay. Which honestly makes me like you way more. Like, literally everyone that sided with Sir Kay is way more badass than all the other knights. And, like, obviously it's subjective what you think you should do in that circumstance. But for me, I definitely am on Sir Kay's side there, big time. So yeah, Percival, Sir Kay, and there's a few other ones. I think Gwaine and Gareth's other brother, he sided with them, I'm pretty sure. And I think Bors did too. I don't remember if they actually said Bors was there or not. I don't remember. I know some of the other, like, lesser known Knights of the Round are there and they side with Kay, but I don't think every single one of them was summoned. I don't think. And I don't remember which ones are confirmed and not. So. But I know Percival is one, and I'm pretty sure the other brother that I don't know how to pronounce his name of. I like how the only reason we got Gareth and not him is because Gareth is female. That's the only reason. That's literally the only reason. They have mentioned Bors a little bit in Fate, but so little, like so little. They haven't even detailed like how he behaves and stuff like at all. So, which sucks. I hope they do. Actually, I do agree that a lot of times Nasu is like hesitant to, and sometimes it's not Nasu. Nasu's not writing every little thing in FGO, not at all. A lot of times he's just advising. But I agree a lot of times Nasu is hesitant to use things in FGO because he doesn't want to just kind of slap, and he doesn't want to randomly use them for a random bit in FGO, and then that kind of traps that character in a box for future stories and future writers, because maybe he doesn't write them, maybe someone else does. I don't think that's necessarily the case in Camelot specifically, and the reason for that is they've already characterized Sir Kay in great detail, so that I think the issue is laziness, budget, and time, and that kind of stuff. They didn't want to make that many Knights of the Round. Okay, I think it's two things. It's what I just said, and then it's also them not wanting to have a million Knights, because people are like, oh, it's just more dudes in armor with swords. This is so boring, right? Meanwhile, we have like a million, you know, Japanese characters that are all very similar, right? It's like, that, I think that definitely plays into it, is they're like, oh, we already have so many Knights of the Round, we don't need more. So I think that's part of it, but then also I think they don't want to have to make a million characters at once, and they just couldn't be bothered to actually create Sir Kay and Percival and all that. Now, I do think the stuff that they had said with Sir Kay in the past, like in Fate Hollow and more importantly in Gardens of Avalon, the drama CD, you know, the way they have him behave in Camelot Zero is consistent with that, and that's good, but it was a convenient out for them. It wasn't like they were, because they do the opposite in a heartbeat, and I've seen Fate do this so many times, and I really dislike when they do this. They'll have a moment where it's like, okay, what the character really should do is X, but we need them to do Y for the story, so we'll kind of contrive a reason for them to still kind of behave in their character, like in a frivolous way to have them do Y. And a good example is Gilgamesh in Fate Zero. They needed Ortoria not to know who he was, because he said she didn't know who he was in Fate Stay Night. But the way they have to have Gilgamesh never does that. Look at every other story with Gilgamesh. At no point does he ever hide his identity in any way, and he does not give a fuck, right? And then they have him, like, when he's asked about his identity, you know, in a way where he'd really want to boast and really show off. He's like, you know, oh, if you can't figure out who I am, you don't deserve to know who I am. He would never do that. That's so out of character, right? And they're having him try to act, but what they're doing is they're having him behave in a prideful way. Like, oh, if you don't even know who I am, you're mongrels that don't deserve to know who I am, right? they're trying to have him behave like himself, but it's an excuse to justify, you know, the fact that you know, Artoria is not supposed to know who he is and all that, and she's president and everything, right? So it's like, it's one of the, they do stuff like that all the time. So yes, I think Sir Kay was behaving within character to not side with Artoria there, but if they had wanted to do Sir Kay, if the artist was like, oh man, we really want to draw Sir Kay, we really want to give him, put him in the game, and they'd already decided he was going to be in the game, because that stuff's decided ahead of time, the writers would have to be, okay, so how can we have Sir Kay be here, right, and still have it make sense with his character, right? That's what they would do, and they would kind of, you know, work around it a bit, right? So, you know, unfortunately, the business comes first, the artistic stuff comes second or third a lot of the times. And that's not unique to Fate, that's really common for storytelling in general, although there's exceptions. There are plenty of things that put the story first, but the more money that's involved, you know, the more eyes on the project, you know, that generally the harder it is to actually be consistent. The writers generally have to try to make it work as best they can, and then, you know, it's cart before the horse. Nobody has their NP right now, feels bad. Really should have, I like how Rosh doesn't have his NP because he would kill himself. No, Heroic Spirit Gilgamesh is after the herb stuff. A lot of people really just don't understand the way Gilgamesh works with like his behavior versus the way humanity is, and then most of what we've ever seen of Gilgamesh is him, you know, being corrupted by Angra, and obviously Angra can't control him and doesn't corrupt him nearly as much as most people, but it still affects him. There's basically, honestly, and if anything, they've exaggerated it to try to make them more different, but really, there should be really no difference between Caster Gilgamesh and Archer Gilgamesh. The difference should be the state of humanity, and that's kind of what they said, and that's kind of how it is. Because if you look at CCC Gilgamesh, and Fate Strange Fate Gilgamesh, and then look at Caster Gilgamesh, it's pretty much the exact same character, and it's because they're both just older Gilgamesh. That's just the character. You know, what generally makes Gilgamesh behave really differently is if humanity is in a really fucked up state and he really hates them and things like that. That's what makes him behave differently, not his class. They should really never do if Gilgamesh was immortal, in my opinion, because it's so counter to the entire point of what the Epic of Gilgamesh was about. Because that's not like a fun twist, like a what if, you know, this person didn't do this or that. It's not. That's literally throwing out what the, because let's be real, the Epic of Gilgamesh was designed to tell a certain story, right? It's got, you know, it has certain like things it's trying to get across, right? It's just like Moby Dick has specific themes and stuff it's trying to get across. And then if you made a version of Moby Dick, I'm sorry, of Ahab, that's completely counter to the entire point of the book, that's pretty lame in my opinion. And you can do what you want, you know, I'm not gonna like sue you or anything, and I don't believe you should be banned or anything, but I think that's pretty lame. So I kind of want to NP Arash, just put defense down on him so I do a little bit more damage. But he's got the defense. You know what? I was thinking about waiting to do Ku's NP, but I think I'd do this. That way I just do maximum damage to Curse Arm, and he's the one that needs to die. Because for real, there's a lot of characters and stuff where you can kind of what if their lives and stuff, and that really wouldn't have a, you know, a really big impact on like what the story was about or whatnot. But yeah, it'd be, I just don't see the. It'd be pretty dumb to do Gilgamesh and like cut that part of his character development out. Archer Gilgamesh is after the immortal stuff too. I honestly don't know why people think that's not the case, because that is absolutely the case. It's not. Never mind. Okay, I gotta enlighten some people here. I really. There is no Caster Gilgamesh and Archer Gilgamesh. That's not a thing. That doesn't exist. There's just heroic spirit Gilgamesh. That's all there is. There is no Caster and Archer Gilgamesh. There's just heroic spirit Gilgamesh, and this is true for all servants, or all heroic spirits, excuse me. And then you take that heroic spirit and you put it in a class container, right? And that class container will limit them in various ways because the container's not strong enough to you know, have full-on a heroic spirit. Generally, some heroic spirits are so trash, that's not the case. Uriel and Steno, for example. Anyway, and the heroic spirit version of Gilgamesh is just, you know, it takes his whole life and all of his experience, and then his physical form will be when he's in his prime. Generally, there's some exceptions to that. So Gilgamesh is just Gilgamesh, and the difference is like what class container he's being in. It's just like, you know, all versions of Gilgamesh have the knowledge of his life. He knows about the snake stuff. He was summoned by the fucking snake skin, for God's sakes. He remembers Enkidu dying and all these things. It's just Gilgamesh. Now, in Babylonia, he's not a caster. He's just a dude. And in Babylonia, that's just Gilgamesh. That's just, you know, but it's not normal Gilgamesh because it's a singularity and, you know, the timeline's fucked up and you know, things have gone a bit differently and all that. But it's just Gilgamesh. It's just human Gilgamesh. There's no servant there. And with Archer Gilgamesh, it's just, you know, that's his heroic spirit self in the Archer container. And then in CCC, it's kind of just Gilgamesh, because, you know, fuck the rules. But anyway, like if you could transport Caster Gilgamesh into Unlimited Blade Works and he was slightly corrupted by Angra, he would behave the exact same way as Unlimited Blade Works Gilgamesh would. Now, if you could take like human Gilgamesh, maybe it'd be slightly different. The thing is, it's not it. No, their physical prime. First of all, nothing is ever confirmed that there's an age difference between Archer Gil and Caster Gil. Nothing, literally nothing has ever confirmed that. There is a difference between Fate Stay Night Gilgamesh and Caster Gilgamesh because they straight up say this between Fate Zero and Fate Stay Night. Gilgamesh drinks his youth potion, and so he's younger, right? And then the teen years go back, but he's ultimately younger. That's why Fate Zero Gilgamesh looks so much older. There's never been a confirmed age difference between like CCC Gil, Fate Stay Night Gil, I'm sorry, Fate Strange Fate Gil, and Fate Zero Gil and Caster Gil. If anything, I would say Fate Zero Gil is older. Like the way he's actually animated, so he absolutely looks older and everything. And it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. Like the heroic spirit has their memories of themselves when they're alive. Right, Ku has his memories of all of his life. Ku knows that, you know, how he died and all that. He knows all that stuff, even though he's being summoned into a body that's a bit before that. That's just the heroic spirit's work. Now, they're generally summoned at their combat pinnacle, you know. So some, you know, like you got Lee and Sitting Master, where they're not necessarily at their physical pinnacle because, you know, their mental state gets way better. Anyway, but yeah, there's literally never been any confirmation of an age difference between Caster. Like the only age difference we know of is Fate Stay Night Gil is younger because he took the potion of youth, and obviously Kid Gil is younger because he took the potion of youth again. And you have to be. Let's be real. You're kind of blind if you don't notice the age difference between Kid Gil and like Fate Zero Gil. It's like it's the same picture, guys. There's no difference. Like obviously there's an age difference on that one. No, what are you talking about? You're saying things, you're just saying things that have no confirmation at all. You're just saying stuff, right? As far as we're aware, they literally don't explain it in the anime, and they don't explain it in the game. As far as we're aware, Caster Gil, which is just Gil, you know, just Gilgamesh in Babylonia, dies. He's dead. And then he's summoned as a servant, and because the servant is way stronger, and then, you know, he's got access to A and all that stuff again, and that's that. Now, they're not clear about that. They're very vague about it. Some people think he just, like, somehow recovered his other Gate of Babylon stuff or not. Like, it's super vague. Like, literally, the game doesn't explain it. The character material doesn't explain it. The anime doesn't explain it. Although the anime makes up all kinds of bullshit, but let's not go there. At no point have they ever said there's an age difference between Archer Gil and Caster Gil. Never. There's nothing. Like, point me to something where they ever confirmed this. They never did. And they never explained what the fuck was going on with Gilgamesh at the end. And even if they did, that doesn't mean anything. Like, Gilgamesh in Babylonia doesn't have access to most of Gate of Babylon. He doesn't have Aya anymore. And he's a regular human. So it doesn't matter what his age is. He could be 20, he could be 30, and then that's going to make the heroic spirit version of Gil way stronger anyway. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't. The age, one of them could be a baby, and the other one could be 90 years old. The heroic spirit one is obviously going to be stronger. It's not because he's in his prime. It's because he actually has access to Gate of Babylon, and he's a heroic spirit. Because again, Castigal doesn't have Aya. He doesn't have it anymore. So the one that does have Aya is going to be a little bit stronger. I think Proto Arthur has his own separate spirit origin. Oh yeah, of course he does. All the prototype people have a different spirit origin. Technically, they're not even part of our world. They've kind of blurred the line a bit because people kind of want the line to be blurred, I think. And then you have Fate Labyrinth, the book, and all that. But yeah, no, I mean, even with that stuff, they're just different. You know, they're different entities entirely, and they're from a. Because to be clear, you have a lot of different timelines with the normal stuff. Like Fate Apox is its own timeline. You know, Fate Sinite's its own timeline. I mean, Heaven's Field's its own timeline from that, and then you know, Fate Extra, blah 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 blah. But they're part of the same world, right? They're the same like chunk, if you will. They're like branches on a tree, and that's actually how they explain this stuff generally. They're different branches on the same tree. Fate Prototype is a different tree entirely. Like all the different, you know, Fate Extra, like, so if you, it's actually a pretty good analogy, and this is why they use it. It is like you have like the Fate timeline, which is like, you know, it's a tree, right? And certain branches can be really different. You can have two branches on a tree that are like right next to each other, going in the same direction. They're really similar, with like a minor divergence. But then you could also have one branch on a tree growing completely left, and then another branch on the tree going completely right. Those are going to be really different, right? And Fate Extra is one of those. It's one that's like really, really fucking different. It's like growing left, or like a lot of it, once we follow, it might be, you know, going right or in the middle or whatever. Where Fate Prototype, and then Lost Belts are, you know, ones that are supposed to get pruned. Those are like, you know, fucking branches like that are going like downwards and like loop-de-loop, you know, diagonal, right? That's Lost Belts, and those are supposed to get pruned, you know, cut off from the tree, right? That's what you do when you have a tree and you have a branch getting really fucked up. You cut it off. And in Prototype and Musashi's world are just completely different trees. They're like a completely different tree. So yeah, that's the best way of putting that. So yeah, Arthur and all that stuff is really different. Now, they actually have not fully explained Lost Belts. What I just said is what they want you to think at the beginning of the story, but as the Lost Belts have gone on, they're starting to like reveal new information. A lot of like characters were like mistaken about what they thought and stuff, and they're starting to think that, like in Lost Belt 5, they start to like unveil that it seems to be more like these quote-unquote Lost Belts aren't even real. Like, they're based on pruned timelines, but these aren't those pruned timelines. Those timelines were cut. They are gone, and these are some kind of like virtual recreation of them. That's like what if these weren't pruned, right? That's what seems to be happening. That's what Ophelia thinks basically, and that's what she like reports to Wadim, but they're not sure. That's what they think is happening, but they're not even sure. So we'll see. Okay, I have not been paying attention to what the hell I've been doing, so this is kind of awkward right now. I feel like I should have used Mozart's third skill a long time ago, because if he gets insta-death, we're in so much trouble. The dream is Curse Arm NP's Babbage and doesn't insta-kill him. In case things go wrong, I should use Mozart's third skill right now and just crit Arash a lot. But I need to get rid of protection from the wind. I really wish I had Babbage NP gain on this turn. This is unfortunate. This is Dirty Worker from Armored Core Verdict Day. Yeah, I assume they're really unclear about this, but I assume the Throne of Heroes is not connected to any of the trees, basically. right? It's like outside of all of the trees. It's not even. I don't think. I'm kind of guessing it's not even connected to the root. However, they've never clearly defined the root very well. And originally, it seemed like the root was only related to the Fate Stay Night world or the Nasuverse world, right? But I'm thinking they're going to have like all the trees connected to the same root, right? That's kind of what I'm thinking. But a lot of this stuff, you know, they made up at the beginning, but a lot of stuff they're also making up as they go. So, well, that went really well for me. That was pretty much the best outcome I could ask for. Good job, Cursed Arm, you're throwing. Well, if anything's a garden, it would be the root. I think the Throne of Heroes is just super detached, and they did that because it allows them to do whatever they want. Like, it allows them to just do whatever they want, right? They can literally do anything with the Throne of Heroes they want. That's why they just, like, that's the whole, I think the whole reason, like, yep, this is outside of space-time. That way they don't have to deal with, like, inconsistencies and paradoxes and those kinds of things, so. Which was probably the right move. What's not clear, like I said, we've always known that, you know, it's outside of space-time, but what's not really clear is what's the relation between the Throne of Heroes and other worlds, like Fate Prototype, right? And it's because ultimately Fate Prototype was supposed to be its own canon that was completely unrelated, but then they wanted it to be related, so, you know, it gets kind of weird. Well, that's actually, that's not even the right way to describe it. Really, Fate Prototype was supposed to be Fate Stay Night, you know, and then it got replaced, and then they brought it back. And then so it's like, I don't know what this is, so yeah, it's kind of weird. I like how he just gave. Well, I'll say this: he got rid of protects from arrows, right? If that was the goal, it was just he accomplished that, but he gave Ku his NP, so I don't think that was a good move. I'm pretty sure Arash is fine here. Like, he just retreats, you know, it's just like training or whatever. Well, let's be real. You can dig into the details and all that, but it's a plot device. All this stuff is just a plot device. You know, it gives them an excuse to do what they want. You know, anytime there's an established rule for how, like, you know, timelines work, or how the root works, or how the Throne of Hero works, or whatever, if that gets in the way of, like, telling a story, a new story that they're working on right now, they'll contrive whatever the fuck to justify it, right? So, there's not much point in taking it too seriously, in my opinion. The stuff that, like, you should take seriously, and I think the writers should take seriously, even though sometimes they don't, sometimes they do. It's kind of all over the place, depends on the writer. So it's like the established stuff you say about the characters, you know, what the character's personality is, what the character's abilities are. Those things I think you should really try to be consistent with and care about and all that. The other stuff is just a backdrop, you know, and fair enough. That's not, you know, I prefer to have a backdrop that's consistent and logical and all that stuff. But I understand not every story is going to be that way, and so it is what it is. But I think the way they handle the characters and stuff needs to be a lot more consistent, which unfortunately sometimes it is not. Fate is like one of those things where it's really cool, and it's all these characters that I really like in it, and the concept is so awesome, and especially like a lot of the older stuff had lots of like cool stuff of like how the abilities worked, and you know, it actually had a lot of basis in like the rule set of like how D&D was and stuff, which was actually pretty neat. And then you combine that with history and everything, it's really cool. But as it's gotten bigger, I think they've had a real problem with just so much cart before the horse storytelling, and I hate that stuff. And I'm always kind of at odds with that with Fate. There's just a lot of, and it depends on the writer. I think some of the writers do a good job, but there's a lot of nonsense in Fate. There's a lot of nonsense in Fate, so it's kind of hard for me to take it seriously anymore. But I still like the character designs and the characterizations and all that. Well, I don't like all of them, but I like some of them. I mean, the thing is, FGO is in a vacuum. They've done this so much. If you read the bios of the characters and stuff, FGO is completely in a vacuum. Like everything that happens in it is going to be erased when it's over. They say that over and over again. Like if you read all of Shiki's bio and Scath's bio and Fujino's bio and then Scath's Bond CE, it's really obvious that FGO is completely in a vacuum, and they're doing everything they can to make sure it doesn't actually influence literally anything outside of FGO. And after it's all done, it's like everything goes back to normal. You know, Scath goes back to being alive in the Land of Shadows and not being summonable, and all that stuff. And just all kinds of nonsense like that, you know, and like Shiki's not supposed to be part of the counterforce, and after FGO she's not going to be anymore. They straight up say that. So like what's canon and isn't, it basically is irrelevant. In a way, all of it's canon, in a way, but none of it is. That's kind of the best way of looking at it, which is stupid. But I kind of see it as that you have stories that they do in events that are obviously serious, and they're directly tied to the events of the main story in FGO. Because even if FGO's not like canon to the other Fate stuff, it doesn't matter, right? If someone writes a book, that book is canon to itself. It doesn't matter if it's not canon to other books and stuff. That just means if they're connected or not. That's really all it means. You know, people see canon as like a stamp of approval, which is stupid. A story, if you think a story's good, a story's good. That's all that matters, right? Like if get Disney, right? Disney bought Star Wars and they say, oh, this is canon and that's not canon. That doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. Those stories still exist, and they're still self-contained stories, right? And it's the same for FGO. But in terms of just a practical way of looking at it, it's like you have a lot of events that obviously, it's just obvious. They're jumping the shark, right? The writers are literally jumping the shark in on purpose, where they have outrageous things happen, and they like they'll parody like servants' abilities, they'll parody like the skill name that a servant has and has it do something very silly or whatever, right? That obviously is not how it works and stuff, and they break the fourth wall, right? They do all of like the summer events and things like that, they break the fourth wall all the time. You know, they're not trying to be serious, it's silly, right? But then you have other events that are directly trying to be serious and are directly tied to like the Lost Belts and things like that. And those, you know, it's pretty easy to see as, you know, quote unquote canon. And like I kind of established that in the anniversary event, because they had the Maze event, you know, be one of the memorial stages, right? Because like that the Maze event was like directly part of like the Lost Belt, you know, story, where you're not going to see like the summer challenge quest be a memorial stage, right? That's not going to happen, right? So it's to me it's kind of obvious, right? When they do, you know, when they jump the shark and they're being really silly and they're breaking the fourth wall all the time, and you know that's obviously not, you know, part of the main story. Where when they do stuff like the Maze event and several other stories, then it is. You know, if it's canon or not, like I said, it's kind of irrelevant. So. All right, well, how far in are we? Surely Mordred is soon. Should be this chapter, I think. Maybe 4 more chimeras. But I've made this comparison a few times, but I think it's fair. It's like, it's a lot like comic books. Different writers take things, you know, more seriously and less seriously, or they have, you know, this idea or that idea. So it's a lot like that with Fate now. There's so many different writers that, you know, it's kind of pick your poison. But yeah, there is a price. If you want a whole cohesive canon where everything you make in this universe is really cohesive and all that, you can't have a lot of different writers. It just won't work. Because certain characters are going to write the same character in a different way, right? That's just going to happen. We've already seen that plenty in Fate, so... Yeah, when you have a lot of different people working on the same thing, you know, you got Fate Stay Night, you got Fate Zero, Fate Strange Fake, Fate Extra, Fate APOC, Prismilia, FGO, all the different writers in FGO, Fate Labyrinth. You know, there's say Prototype, Blue Fragments. All, you know, it's not all going to be super consistent with everything. So it's only these three. I should have used Ushi's first skill last turn. So that's something we can all get behind, animation updates. I haven't had any in a while. This song is from Metroid Prime, the original. Which is such an old game now. I remember when I got that game as a kid, man. That game is one of the most memorable games for me. It was a really atmospheric game and all that anyway, and I just played it at pretty early in my life, but I was old enough to not be an idiot, right? So, well, I'd like to go for 200% on Arash, but I don't think. Well, I could do the art chain and then do his third skill. We got Ushi's first skill, like we're kind of close, but I mean anybody could get yeeted at any point now, other than Ku. So I think we just go. I have no hope for Metroid Prime 4 being good. I have none. There's too many... First of all, everything they've said about it reeks of development hell. They basically said they had a different team working on it, which that's insanity that they wanted a different team to work on. Like, originally Nintendo was like, no, we're not having Retro Studios do Metroid Prime 4. They specifically picked someone else. That alone is such a bad decision that I'm like, that already gives me no faith in the project. And apparently, whoever they picked to work on this did a horrible job, and Metroid Prime 4 was trash, and it was not going anywhere, and it wasn't working. Then they got Retro Studios to take over, and then Retro said basically what was there was so bad that they needed to just completely start over. This already is signs of just so many problems. Now you're gonna have budget problems and time issues, and like that's just not good. And then, honestly, I think Nintendo's influence on Metroid Prime, or just Metroid in general, has been very negative since forever, right? So you have the original Metroid games, which are really old, and they didn't even detail a lot of stuff about like the characters and the setting and stuff. It was kind of vague, but there was some, some groundwork there. And a lot of the people that originally worked on those games don't work for Nintendo anymore. They quit a long time ago. They quit before Metroid Prime, and then some of the most prominent ones died, which is really unfortunate. But like obviously they're not going to have any creative say over the series anymore because they're dead. And then the IP was pretty much done. It was that was it. And then Nintendo didn't have any real interest in it. And also Metroid had always done badly in Japan. Metroid was a series that did well in NA. It was very successful in NA, but it was actually very unsuccessful in Japan. And then so they gave the IP to Retro Studios, right, which is actually an NA developer. They're owned by Nintendo, but they're actually like a second-party team. They're NA people. They're an American team, I think. They're not Japanese. They're not actually directly Nintendo. And because they didn't really have a problem giving Retro Studios the Metroid IP, because at the time they didn't really view it as a successful IP. They didn't care about it. The creatives behind it had either quit or died. And again, it just wasn't that successful of an IP in their eyes. So they just didn't care about it. Like, yeah, these retro people, because they've shown to have no respect for Retro Studios. Nintendo has often shown like signs of not having any respect for Retro Studios. And anyway, so they just give them Metroid Prime, or just Metroid, as like, their crumbs, if you will. Now, a few people in Nintendo do like Retro Studios. There are some key figures in Nintendo that do like Retro Studios. Or did, been many years. Anyway, so Retro makes and Retro did work with some people in Nintendo when making Metroid Prime, but Nintendo wasn't as involved for Metroid Prime 1, and so Retro kind of had leeway to do what they wanted, and I think they did a great job. I think Retro Studios took the original groundwork of what was in the 2D games that was pretty bare bones, and I think they expanded on it in a pretty logical way, and they kind of were pointing Samus's character in a certain direction that was pretty reasonable from what they had established, right? But then the franchise started getting more popular, between Metroid Prime and Smash Brothers, all of a sudden Nintendo started caring about Metroid again, and not just there was a few people in Nintendo that had always cared about Metroid, but now the executives and the cash money people, they started caring about Metroid because it was more on the map, and then Nintendo started having way more input over the way Metroid Prime was going to be and everything, like the character designs and everything. And I think every game, the more Nintendo got involved with Metroid Prime, I think the worse it got. I think 1 was the best, and then 2 was good, but there was some issues, and I really don't like the redesign of Samus, because they wanted it to be like in line with Smash Brothers and everything, and that was all Nintendo, and I don't care for that in the slightest. And I don't really like 3 very much, and so I just have no confidence in 4. I have no confidence in 4. Because then after Metroid Prime 3, Nintendo yeeted Retro out of the Metroid franchise, and they gave him the boot, and they're like, we're handling this now, and they made Other M. They made Metroid Other M, which is like, yeah, that was a good game, right? It's like, so I have no faith. I have no faith in any of this. All right, let's see. Lance, what's this stage? We're fighting everything. Like we're just, I'm summoning Darius. Fuck it. Like we're just fighting everything here. Like I'm not gonna try to. The only way I could like min-max the classes is like if I knew what order the enemies came in, right? Then I could. You know what? I don't want to just copy the 1 to 3 star account. We're always using the 1 to 3 star account. You know, we're always doing like Darius and those kinds of things. I can have more fun in this account. I'm using Mori. I don't want to get carried. I'm not going to summon like God Jr. or anything, but I'm summoning fucking Mori because he's actually a terrible carry because he's a garbage carry. I love Mori, but he is such a bad carry unit because he has no survivability and he relies on the team to set him up so much. You know, you get paid for it, sure, but my God, is he not a carry unit in any way? But he's still good, and so yeah, we'll go with Mori because I like him. That is not the C. Actually, that CE can be really good on him, but not for this kind of setup. Okay. I don't know if that's enough protection. Maybe I should have used MASH, but I haven't leveled my MASH. Because I'm so used to the 1 to 3 star account where we can't use MASH. It's not even in my brain that I can use her, so I haven't even like thought about leveling her. I don't have Chin Gong, man. Feels bad. Hey, I do feel like using an 100, like in Oceanus or something, is legitimately a bit much. But in Camelot, I'm like, whatever. He's a 3 star. And look at this man. He's amazing. Imagine not liking Mori. Actually, I know a lot of people that don't like Mori, but I also call them heathens. I mean, you're not wrong, Rex. You're not wrong. But it's, you know, yeah, he's pulling most of the weight, but that's not this. It's not like, you know, I have to protect him still, right? I still have to tailor the team to him. If I summoned like Ku Alter, I could literally bring like a bunch of level 1s and it wouldn't matter. Where with Mori, I have to at least, you know, David, George, you know, try to, you know, keep Mori from getting punched in the face. Oh, look, Rex, look at David. Look at big bad David. He's doing something. He killed him! Are you proud of him, Rex? He did it! And that was the meanest enemy here on this wave. Don't make fun of David. I'm not making fun of him. Look at the shepherd go! He killed that guy too! So the dream is David doesn't do 2,000 damage here. Is it worth it? I could just do this and get my NP, right? But I'm trying to get David's NP too. He doesn't have a Buster card, he's level 50, but he's an archer. Probably shouldn't do it. took the coward's way out. Oh man, and there's 2 sabers. Okay, I probably should have done it the other way. Oh well. So I have my Mori set to be slow-mo, but because I'm summoning him through the support system, it's gonna put him in fast mode. So I'm just gonna put it in slow-mo myself. No! I was looking at chat and I just clicked George's card. Fuck. I wasn't looking. I was like, this is Mori, right? Fucking idiot, indeed. Delete out, yeah. No extra attack for us. Mori's attacks actually look really good in slow-mo. A lot of impact there. Of course they go right for Mori. I thought about giving him evade. Really? I was like, you know, maybe he gets hit once, and then we heal him, and then we can evade him, and then we can, you know, taunt again. But no. They were going for blood there. And we gave him a bunch of defense down too, so. See, I wanted George to die, so I'd have Hans, and Hans would make stars, so then our star absorber would actually give us crits. But that didn't happen. I feel like, unless you're wanting George to live and that's like the goal, if somehow someone else dies, if like the unit you're specifically protecting dies before George, that's a failure, right? There's something has gone very wrong there. I should have been attacking the Lancer. I actually don't know why I'm still attacking this thing. Because now we're trivializing David's NP. It was actually going to do like a lot of damage to one of them, but the one we're leaving is the one thing he can't do anything to. I mean, it's too late now. Let's go, George. How many crit? Uh-oh. It's not really good timing for Hans, actually. Oh yeah, I don't have that thing limit broken, so I don't have as much NP as I was thinking. Also, Hans' third skill is like rank 1, so it's not actually gonna make that many stars. Well, not much point in doing the crit up. Buster down. Yeah, I should have done David's NP just to see how bad it was going to be. It's Lancer, not NP 5, not next level, and Buster down. Look, you gotta show these tin cans who the better tin can is, right? I have no regret, chat. I have no regret. Like I would have felt a little bad if I had like used Hercules like really ham on the very first time I beat Gwaine or something, right? But here I don't. I'm okay with level 100 Mori murdering all the knights. I'm okay with this. Mori's overcharged his defense down. Because, you know, Pearson vulnerability can't scale, right? It doesn't work that way. Okay, this is Mordred. I kind of... Okay, chat. we don't have story replay, so we can't like fuck around. I kind of want to like try to solo this with something. Like at the same time, I want to beat it legit, but I kind of want to. Okay, we'll beat it legit, but then we'll cancel the stage, and then we'll do stupid stuff. Although you fight Mordred twice, and we'll see which one we think is better. Because I think the one where she like retreats and you fight her again, like in the same stage, that's probably going to be the hardest one. Now, Mordred is a lot easier than Gwaine, so we might be able to get by with Bedivere. The problem is, it's just not fun. That's the issue. It's really not fun using story support Bedivere, which I hate to say that, but it is what it is. Okay, definitely not Billy. That's. Oh, we could. Oh man, we'll go ham with Billy later. We'll do something more reasonable right now. Okay, fine. We'll do this. I'm gonna regret this. David is so good here, though. That's the thing. It's like there's no room for him. It's like the whole like using him to buff and stuff is fine, but Mozart's so much better. Like Mozart is just so much better. Why would you bother? And you don't. In some fights, you need 2 units like that, but like this just isn't one of those. And if he could turn 1 NP, I could make it work, but he can't turn 1 NP, so. Unless you like Waver or something, but obviously we don't have that. Like there's just no reason Canis versus Mordred. That would be rough. I might try that though, just because Mordred's not actually that hard. So Canis actually might be able to handle that. Rex, you're just trolling now. You're trying to get me to leveler is what you're doing. Who, me? Not that trying to get me to level her is a bad thing, because I really should level her, but you know, maybe someday. Okay, you know what? Maybe we let David die pretty early and we get Bedivere value that way. But then Bedivere is just gonna die because he doesn't have any way to survive the NP, unless I use the Mystic Code, but that's terrible value. Do I have Parted Sea? Okay, I would say surely I've gotten at least 1 Parted Sea. Okay, this is like super legit. Let's see how we do here. Oh god, doesn't Mordred have... Oh, Mordred is actually worse for Robin. Because I think she has higher magic resist, and she removes debuffs. Like, it can work, sure, but... Oh. Hi. Well, this is awkward. Don't root for them, Ari. Don't start. Don't you start. I'm just imagining Rex and Ari with like the big foam fingers now. That's fine. I know them well enough. Mordred looks a bit different. Did she get a haircut? Yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna BRB real quick. I need to run to the restroom. And get water and, you know. Alright, so that took so long. I decided to make a sandwich. Because I'm hungry. Alright, what are we doing here? Why didn't I cast evade on David? I don't understand. Why did my past self not cast evade on David? We're gonna have like extra time. Fuck. I think what I do now. This is pretty bad. I guess I cast it anyway, but now I think the cooldown is gonna be too long to ever use it against Mordred's in P. Your past self betrayed you? Apparently so. Excuse me, I was taking a bite and I thought I'd already clicked the art card. See, casting it later is really bad because not only is the cooldown one turn longer, but then George is out of taunt one turn sooner, so we lose the evade faster. Like, it's not great. The dream is we get 200% battery. Okay, so we're not going to keep this Mordred stage. I think we keep the next one. The next one, when you fight her, there's no Camelot Knight. So, this is what I expect the anime is going to do. Because this is what a lot of anime does. The first few fights with Camelot Knights are going to matter. And they'll actually be, like, imposing and skilled. But as the story progresses, because they don't want to like waste screen time on that, they're gonna get worse. They're just gonna get stupider, and they're gonna become really trivial. Like they'll have one fight scene where they're good. They'll have one, and then after that, you know, once like you start introducing other characters and stuff, they're just gonna make them suck. That's how anime do. Well, I mean, the anime is not gonna like have all the filler stages. This is really bad right now. I hate that I have to do this. This is really bad, but I need to cut down on their NP, the amount of NPs they can do. Maybe I should have NP'd and art. That probably would have been better. Could have like looped really easily. Because now we have to wait a lot of turns to get our art cards back, which is bad. Not going to NP with David, because I don't want this guy to die fast. I want to get Robinson P again. This extra stall though is giving me time to get my evade back, which is kind of nice. Although Mozart might die, which would be really bad. Damn. That's a cool animation, though. I don't know why you put your shield down. It looks cool, but I don't know why you would do that. But let me not protect myself. So I need this guy to die, and I need to get Robin's in P. So I'm thinking maybe I should use Mozart's third skill. Yep. Oh, I regret everything. The one good thing that came out of that was the fact that I get Mozart's NP. That did not go well though. We lost our evade. At least Robin still has it. Everyone else gonna fucking die. You know, even though David has so little life, he might live just because we've got, she doesn't hit too hard and she has attack down, MP down, he has defense up. But our attack down and MP down are rank 1. And his defense up is rank 1. So he probably is gonna die. Especially because his health is not great. So, you might think, why not do David's NP? And that actually probably is better, but I'm just trying to loop Robin's. I want to see how much NP I can get. You... Mozart. Buddy. So yeah, we could have killed her right there. With, David, most likely. Well, it's pretty close anyway. Oh. She just has her extra attack. She really did not like David there, but thankfully we had attack down, defense up, counter class, etc., etc. Yeah, this one's kind of a joke battle. This one exists to show you that she's going to NP every turn. Like, that's what this is here for. It's so you know in advance. The first time you fight her, she NPs every turn, but it's not in a way that is going to wipe you, you know? So... you know, now you know, basically, right? So you're supposed to be ready to bring something like David or whatever. Arash would have been so good on that stage. Okay, I think the next fight is where she has like a pseudo health bar, which is kind of cool. So this is the one we'll do a couple of times and mess around with. A few times. A couple means 2, but I feel like that's really lost its meaning. Like people saying, "Oh, I need a couple of those," actually meaning I need 2 of those. I don't know. Maybe people do still use it that way, but I feel like it doesn't get used that way anymore. And kind of rightfully so. I feel like if you're like, yo, I need 2 of those, you just say, I need 2 of those. I don't see the point in saying, you know, a couple. I just realized George is a lot worse when the enemy is AoEing every turn, but bad opening hand. To require an additional copy of an item, of the item. We can't need 2 of them. What the fuck? Okay, that's dumb. I think she NPs when you go to wave 2. Like you fight her twice here, and I think the next one with her does the NP. Bro, I used Golden Rule because I was counting on Mordred NPing, right? The NP hit count would work with Golden Rule. Mordred, you're running it. I guess we want. I don't even. What the fuck do I do now? It's all wrong. Bye, George. I wish I could have NP'd and had George die and give me the battery. That would have been way better. So the dream is the NP doesn't kill. This is really fucked. I think I don't use poison, but I use Mozart's art up and crit up. That sounds so whack, but I need to do damage, but I need to not kill her, and I need to start building towards the next NP. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? We have evade. I should do that for the next one. I'm the guy that's always like, oh yeah, Mozart's second skill can be really useful on bosses like that, and then I just throw it away. Okay, well. This is like the exact setup where I've said it could be useful too. I'll tell you what else is getting to me, this freaking heat, man. Hit David, hit David, hit David, yes! You fool! Now see, this is a turn where doing Mozart's NP down would be really good, because I don't necessarily want to kill her right now. I really want to get Robin's NP. So if we have the NP down, maybe do David's defense up, then he's pretty safe, right? I guess I just whiff the heal and do the defense up. Okay, if the problem is we didn't really get that much NP gain here. It's not really enough. He has to hit Robin basically. Hit, come on, one time. What? No, what? No. You know, I feel like Mordred would not be a fan of classical music. I mean, you never know. Let's not stereotype now. You never know. But I have a hunch that wouldn't be her. It would not be her cup of tea. Do I NP with David? I'm thinking no. I think we need this to kill and get, like, I could have Brave Chain, but I want to make sure Robin gets his NP. Oh, fuck. Woo! I don't know if that would have killed it at the crit, but I'll take it. I mean, you can like metal and rock and like classical, because I like rock and I like classical, right? Like you never know, but I wouldn't bet on, like, if I found out Mordred liked classical music, I'm like, okay, that can happen, right? But I'm not betting on it. I really wish we had Mozart's art up. Do I save David? I don't think so. I mean, he's two turns from his evade. You know what, chat? With this whole, I don't know if we should keep David alive or not, it would be really nice if we could, you know, we wouldn't have to commit to using the evade. Maybe if we had another way to lower the NP damage, because, you know, she doesn't do as much as normal. If only we had that. That would be really nice on this turn. So we could save him, and then the next one, David does his evade, and then maybe you face tank a hit, and then you do David's evade again. I mean, you're gonna have to face tank one turn, so I might as well see if it works here or not and not waste the evade in case it doesn't work. I really wish I had my NP down right now, actually, because we could have NP down, attack down, and maybe the defense up as well. And he absolutely could face tank it. Unfortunately, we're going to skill seal her, and that's good in that she can't clear her debuffs, so that makes me happy. But it's bad in that she can hit us in the face a lot. I mean, I feel like I deserve credit for that, Fury. The thing is, I don't think Wadim actually knows what Liz sounds like. That's like the joke, is he doesn't know what he's asking for. Or he has really bad taste. Oh yeah, that is so face tankable. Because yeah, we could have taken a good bit less than that. Now see, imagine if Bedivere could like NP right now. Wouldn't that be swell? I almost want to save Bedivere instead of David. Bedivere is more damage because he'll NP and he'll give the NP up to Robin. David gives you another turn because he has the. I'm just say Bedivere because we win next turn. I mean, even if she clears her debuffs, we're gonna win. The only thing everybody likes is disliking things well. This is the first time we're actually getting real value out of story support Bedivere here, but there's like no point because I should just close the stage because we've blatantly won here. Like, not only have we blatantly won here, but like Robin's not even gonna die because he's got invulnerability, and then Mash isn't gonna die. So yeah, we super win here. Nice overkill though. Mash was good emergency. Look how much easier this was than Gwen though. Now I will say this. You can get blindsided by this. I obviously built this team and I knew what was going to happen for the most part, right? If I was a new account, like this is a very new account, my levels are pretty low, we're kind of scuffed. We're very scuffed. You could get pretty blindsided by this stage and just get like, AoE, like maybe have a unit or two die to her spamming her extra attack, and then when you get to this wave, it just completely cleans your clock, right? And I've seen people that happens to them. So like, this fight can fuck you up, no doubt. But it's okay. This is how the thing. I think both Gwen and Mordred can clean your clock if you don't know what's coming. But if you know what's coming, it's very easy to counter Mordred. Where it's a lot more work to counter Gwen just because the value of like the amount of damage you need and everything is so much higher. Well, we fight Gwen again. Yeah, I fought him a bunch yesterday. I just tried a bunch of different ways to fight him just because. Alright, now we can do whatever we want. Because we beat it legit. The first thing was suggested was Canis, so we'll try Canis. I think that's a terrible idea though, because this kind of has a pseudo health bar, right? This is like the, kind of a having two health bars, kind of. It really kind of is though, like it's a bit different, but you can tell they were playing with the idea. And it's like, a lot of times when you break a health bar, mechanics change. That happens. Sometimes the bosses lose gimmicks and gain gimmicks, or both. And this boss is the same way. She goes from doing her extra attack every turn to doing her NP every turn, right? So it is kind of like a health bar. What do I give Canis? I'm trying to think what I give Canis CE-wise. It's gonna, no matter what we do, it's bad. Like, it's just bad. I guess we'll just go with the tried and true Golden Sumo. But, yeah, I think we're fucked. I kind of want to do Mordred versus Mordred. I actually like that idea a lot. And I am curious what happens if we do Billy. I know Billy can solo like the final fight with Mordred very easily, but I wonder I wonder if this one's harder. I kind of suspect for a solo, this stage might be harder. It would definitely be harder if it was a proper health bar, but because it's like the stage switch, you get a free turn off your cooldowns and stuff. That can be a boon. Sometimes it doesn't matter, but it can definitely help you. Alright, chat, so I don't think the question is, will Canis win or not? I think the question is, how does she fare, right? Now, normally, I would be all about that Atlas life with her. She's really good with Atlas. I'm thinking maybe we go Anniversary Blonde. Oh. We can't go Anniversary Blonde because we don't have it. I guess we're hoping that the damage cut is really helpful then. That's not good, chat. That's not good. I really need to get I need to beat Camelot so I can roll, and I need to roll a 5-star that I don't like at all, and I need to burn them. That'll help a lot. The Anniversary Blonde is definitely the best because you're like, she's good with it anyway. And then this is so short-term, bursty, right? Like the way we're gonna have to fight this. So, Landling versus Mordred, that's just mean. Like Mordred's NP will do nothing. Like it'll do nothing, and actually it'll help. It'll help because his hit count is so high. It'll make it easier for Landling to loop. Like that's just cruel. Daddy let me spam my NP, but it does nothing! Well, at least there's literally no worry about her not killing taunts. She's forced to do her extra attack as her first action. So, that's actually kind of nice. Your NP makes me stronger, indeed. I could have done Buster card first. Canis, we need you to phase tank. You gotta phase tank this one. How are we supposed to crit with the way this is going? That's like our whole shtick. Part of me wants to do quick so I can crit next turn, but we'll go for the damage here. Canis actually does use her shield when she gets hit by an NP, so at least there's that. That's so much damage! Holy shit, she don't attack, no, stop, but, no. It's always the boot. That'd have been so good. That would have been so good if we hadn't died there. Because, then Guts would go off this turn, and then we would switch screens, and we would get our skills back. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to hope we get stupid fucking lucky and we do 50k here, which we're not going to do because we have no crit chance. Why does the art card crit? Why does the art card crit? I know it had a higher chance, but still. Well. We almost made it to the second stage, and we would have made it to the second stage and gotten our third skill back. Like that would have been glorious. Because we could have gotten to the next screen, we would have lost to turn off our cooldowns, then we could have done invulnerability, then we could have done our third skill again. Like we actually could have gone a decent way there. Rex, I don't wanna. Drex, I'm only doing it because I like you. That's the only reason. I think we do... I guess we do default? Yeah, let's use stage 1. That helps. I really like that we're guaranteed, though, to have our taunts die no matter what. Because normally a boss like this would always one-shot your taunts. That's not a problem. But they might do something stupid and cast skills 3 times in a row. Right? But she has to use her extra attack if the game forces her to do it, so... Hey, if your Medusa was here, Fury, I would try it. Let's be real though, you don't actually want to do that because I'm pretty sure she would die. This is a pretty mismatched stage for her. I'd be impressed if she could get past the first wave, and I think she might be able to. She played it really well, I think she might be able to. I guess we just do this. Omega overcharge. We can't overcharge Royalty 1. Her animations look so much better. I don't even like Jack, but those are just so much better. Like, they actually weren't lazy. A lot of times when they update old 5 stars, they're pretty fucking lazy. But they weren't lazy with her at all. I'm tempted to do the attack up, but I think I gotta save it for the next one. I think we're still gonna lose, but gotta do our best. Yeah, Atlas actually might have been better. And Atlas is basically a 3-turn cooldown reduction here because of it not being a proper health bar. You know, you switch the screens. I like how she used her NP and got her NP back, and we don't have Scatty or any of that. Yep, Atlas would have been better because our quick up is so good that it's basically, you know, I'd rather have that than the attack up from this anyway. So losing the attack up for Atlas, so yeah, Atlas is absolutely better. $50 stars. Yeah, she's not power crept at all. Like, she's still so good. It's and this is a vanilla. This is a vanilla Jack. This isn't some, like, you know, we have no command codes. We don't have 2K foe. We're just NP1. This is the most vanilla Jack you can get. Do I try to go around the wheel and use the attack up with the quick up? I don't think so, because I'm not sure if we're gonna make it. Yep, Atlas would have been a lot better though. And like, Kamo's so good. Kamo's so good, right? But they're still really different from each other. And like, I would say overall Kamo's a bit better, but they're still apples and oranges in a lot of ways. So that doesn't make it power creep at all. And there absolutely are times Jack is better than Kamo. Like, abso-fucking-lutely. There are some really disgusting Jack accomplishments out there, like for boss fights and stuff. So, nice thing is if Mordred does her giant defense buff, I can remove it. So, we have to either kill her right now, or be able to face tank an NP. I think we actually can face tank an NP, but we'll probably die to the normal attacks afterwards. I'm doing slow-mo, so if we win, I have more time to react. Please don't fail the 90% crit, we really need that. Okay, good start. So, no doubt she would have won at NP2, because not only would this do more damage, but the previous NP would have done more damage to this health bar. So at NP2, I'm ultra confident she would have won here. And with Atlas, she probably would have won here. Yeah, no, not quite. We're not dead yet. Or we might be, we'll see. Yeah, Mordred, and in the later fight you can't NP seal Mordred. Although there are a few weird things you can do to stop her from NPing, which is actually funny, but... Ooh, we have like no health left, I think. Yeah, no, okay, no, do it again, Mordred, do it again. Another defense buff. You want another defense buff. You want to be really tanky. Mordred, no! Not in the face! Okay, well, she was really close. She definitely would have won though at NP2. That's pretty good performance though for being at neutral and everything. It's just that's an awkward fight there. Hell, you could do that at NP1 if you had command codes, just basic command codes. You wouldn't even need anything that fancy. Like you could get 45k out of command codes pretty easy. Like there's the quick crit up, there's the generic crit up. There's a lot of ways you can do it. Mordred just fucking killed my child. Alright, let's try Mordred versus Mordred. I think Mordred's gonna lose. And but more specifically, I think my Mordred's gonna lose. I have a really strong Mordred, but AoE neutral single target situation, I don't have a lot of faith. And also, she needs Anniversary Blonde. That sucks. Oh god, I messed up my playlist. What the fuck? God damn it. So I had 2 tabs open for the other playlist that's got like specific stuff that I need, but somehow I thought I had like just clicked off of it for like one thing. I could hit the back button and get it back, but no, I didn't have it. Anyway, this is not a good opening hand. I could MP right away if I wanted to. I think MHX could win because she gets a lot of value. And then stun is actually good here and stuff, so. What CE did she have? I forgot, Rex. What did she have? I didn't know what she had. She had quick and MP gain up. Yeah, she might have won. Could have. Cause we MP'd a lot. Like we MP'd a lot. Oh, yes, right. The Christmas one. That I know. That's close. Drunken Jolter is more damage, but that'd be close. Man, it's not worth using my 3rd skill to MP here. Drunken Jolter's level 100. Yeah, I do think Drunken Jolter's better. I'm not sure if it's 45k health better though. But if you did the like if she had command codes and that, I'd say definitely. There's still some luck though, because what Mordred does and low high roll and all that. But it'd definitely be more in her favor, big time. Okay, what do I do here? Why can't I get my bonus damage? Like Mordred, why don't you get your bonus damage against yourself? God damn it. She looks exactly like Artoria, right? It's because she's got that Noble Phantasm that's EX ranked, where she, like, her identity absolutely cannot be discovered. So she can't even discover her own identity. Like, who am I fighting right now? I have no idea. I wanted to do art, but I need to kill, and I don't know if we're going to. Bearing like some of the Welsh takes on the character, Mordred had a real identity crisis issues too. That seems to be where they got it from. That is not good. Well, I can reduce my damage taken by 50% now, but I guess I save that for the next one. What do I? This is fucked because I can't NP. Like like I don't know if I can actually phase tank one, right? So there's like no winning here. This is like really warped. I think I evade and make crit stars. That's really unfortunate. I need to get more to better command codes. Give me the Grail. Just give me the Grail. I want a Mordred that can NP every turn. Surely that wouldn't be broken for farming or challenge quests. Not at all. So this is like the worst use of my third skill ever because we're just throwing the battery out the window. But I have no choice. Nice crit spread, kid! I gave Jack command codes. I'm guessing you give for 2-star ones, but I'll try again and see what happens. Even the 2-star ones can add up. Crit! Do it! Oh my god, she's so close! I gotta give her better command codes because then she could win. And also she would absolutely win if we had Anniversary Blonde. Oh my god. I'm all like, I want to make a video out of this, but I can't use Anniversary Blonde, right? Because I don't have it. That's definitely winnable. If I give Mordred better command codes, she can win that. I kind of want to make that a video. I think it's worth the respec items. Even though I'd be using the wrong Mystic code, I could just put that in like the description that it's like not the meta Mystic code. Like, that's such a fun thing to make a video out of, because the whole identity crisis thing. I could actually have fun with the editing and stuff. I'll at least record it. I might not I'd want to do more editing than normal. I might not have time to do that for a while, so I'll just record it and, you know, put it aside in my hard drive, and then I'll get to it at some point. But yeah, I really want to do that. Alright, let's try Jack again. Oh, these are mostly low-star command codes, but still, that'll add up. Do I do Atlas? I'm trying to think. The only problem with Atlas is if I don't get the evade back. Then it's really bad. Because the problem is our other skills aren't good. Like, well, they can be, but if Mordred doesn't buff, or buff removal doesn't matter, and she just never buffed last time. Yeah, I don't know which one of these is better. I'll try Atlas and just see what happens, but I don't know, default might end up being better. We'll see. You know what really sucks though? I'm gonna have to. The Buster crit command codes are in such high demand. I'm gonna have to use so many respec items because I have to use them to take them off the people already have them on, and then I have to put them on Mordred and I have to get rid of what Mordred has. So that's more respec items. And then I have to take them back off of Mordred and back on. Like that's a lot of respec items, but that's what they're there for. They're there to be used. So one of those things. There's no point in having 100 respec items and you never respec, right? That's useless to you. Oh, we got the wrong music going. This is not a replica. I mean, they're both short, but not that short. Not a big fan of the way the crit spread went down on this one. I didn't make as many stars on the turn prior. That's kind of unfortunate. Sound effects that messed up on that. Well, wow, dude, you could kill her there. That is fucked. I'll take the free quick turn though. Yeah, the no crits helped, absolutely, because yeah, now I get a free turn here to fuel up. Well, it wouldn't be that big of a difference, because if I hit crit, I would have gotten my NP anyway. The difference would be my cooldowns wouldn't have gotten an extra tick. Okay, yeah, see, this is where it gets weird. Yeah, unless we get lucky, I think default's gonna be better. If we get lucky, we could actually live an extra turn over. So basically, if we had gotten lucky with default, you could live one turn longer. And if you get lucky with this Mystic Code Atlas, you could live 2 turns longer. But I'd rather win without needing to get lucky. Because if we had not died on that one turn where we almost face tanked the damage, but we didn't, you know, you can get one more turn that way. And with this one, if that extra turn you get is the turn you need to get your evasion back. So then it buys you that turn and then the next turn. But I'd rather not have to rely on that, so I'm thinking default's actually the way. Yeah, there's just slightly too much damage coming your way. If the damage output on the enemy was slightly lower. So yeah, because we still got a face tank here. The other option is we win right now. I don't think that's going to happen, though. Yeah, I think we would have won with default, I think we could win this turn with default. Because we would have the attack up. For both the... Not only would we have the attack up for the NP, but we'd have it for the Buster crit, potentially, and then the quick crit here. That's quite a bit. So yeah, we're not gonna... Unfortunately, we're not gonna get any value out of Atlas. The only thing we're getting out of Atlas right now is the invulnerability, and we could have gotten the evade. That's just as good. That is kind of neat to see, though, because you can see where if the boss's damage output was a little bit lower and the fight went on longer, this would be much better, because then we get evade again, we get the quick up again. Also, normally you'd actually be using our second and third skill. It's kind of odd that we haven't used it at all, but it is what it is. Mordred, could you low roll and then buff and then like quick attack or double buff? I don't think that was a low roll. That was slightly lower roll than last time, but okay. Oh, that was just BM. That was just BM. Alright, one more. I'm actually worried we high roll on that one turn to kill Mordred. You could try to get... You know, I actually might be playing this wrong. If I can only get my first skill once, it's better on the second health bar. If I'm ever going to face tank a turn, it's when she's doing the extra attack. But I'm not sure she can face tank that either. But, like, if I could actually get through the first health bar without using my first skill, that actually is better. I just don't know if I might die anyway, right? I should try just the science. This is actually kind of an interesting solo. There's a bit more at play here than you might think. And not using my evade guarantees that I don't accidentally kill her and fuck things up. Although killing her if you don't use the evade is actually a good thing. This is a really bad hand before our NP. This is really, really bad. We get our NP in time, but we make like no stars. Oh god, did I not give him the limit broken one? What the oh right, because I'm not summoning George. Oh, that's bad. Whoops, my hand slipped. Oh no. Okay. This is tough for Jack though. This is really pushing it to the limit here. That's why though, if you really like a unit and you want to get the best out of them, that's why you level 100, 2k foe, all the little things, because the end result is way, way, way more value. But it's kind of cool to see how a unit does when they're not super pimped out, because a lot of people, you know, they don't pimp out every 5-star they get. So it's kind of cool to see what they do at their default, so. Yeah, faux paws actually do add up for a servant that crits a lot. Oh my god, dude. Man, can you believe how much the game is crashing right now? Jeez. See, we're just doing this to give Rex FP. Because he gets FP every time, even if we don't complete the stage, so. See, Rex calculated this. He picked a solo where he knew that it was like right at the edge of what the unit could do, so I'd have to like, you know, really min-max it and do it over and over. It's not one of those solos you can just like, you know, play well once and win. So it was just a scheme to get more FP. Chat, the 5th year anniversary is coming up in like 3 weeks. They might add something to the FP Gasha, right? I mean, you guys got to be ready, man. Part of me wants to do art to just make sure I get enough MP, but I kind of want to try to crit on the turn that Leonidas is the only one left. Besides, her quick cards give it decent MP gain. Yeah, it's fine. Sigurd? She is a dragon. Definitely with Anniversary Blonde. I'm not sure without, but definitely with Anniversary Blonde. Because he could... The only hard part would just be getting your NP a second time, but I think if you have, like, the crits and everything, and enough survivability to last a turn or two, I think you could do it. So yeah, I think it'd be fine. If she wasn't a dragon, I'd be a little bit more worried on the second health bar. It'd be close though. You'd have to, I think you need Anniversary Blonde and you need to get a little bit lucky, but I think you could do it. Siegfried could probably do it too. Similar boat though. The good thing about Siegfried is he has better normal card damage than Sigurd here, and he could face tank a lot easier because he actually gets his defense bonus against Mordred because he's a dragon. So when you have on those turns, like, oh, got a face tank now, he could do that, and then also heal a good bit back. It'd be close though, just because he's AOE. Like it'd be tough. You'd need a really pimped out Siegfried. I don't think like a level 80, no command code, 10 to 10, I don't think that could do it. But if you had one that was like really upgraded, I think it could. So I guess we just face tank here and we just see what happens. Because if we're ever gonna face tank and not die, this is the only turn we can do it on. And if we die, we just know we can't face tank and we don't try anymore. And I don't mean we don't try I'll try the stage again, but we won't try to face tank anymore. I honestly don't know what the damage difference is going to be because the extra attack is, although an extra attack, it's still single target, where the NP is AoE and stuff, so it may not be that big of a damage difference. Don't buster. Okay. That's better though. That's better for us. The only issue now is I don't know if I can do 50k here and also make a lot of crit stars. NPing here is pretty bad. It's not the end of the world. If we NP'd, we'd be in a better shape than we were before, but not by much, by very little. And if we kill without our NP, then we're in quite a bit better shape. So BQA is our most damage and is the most likely to do 50k, but it won't make very many stars. Where BQQ will make more stars, but there's that 80% chance one doesn't crit, and then a 90% chance the other one doesn't crit. I think we have to do BQQ because we need to play to our outs because we're in a bad spot. If I almost kill and don't though, I'm gonna lose my mind. I think we got it. So, mother... Mordred, you... So I think we would have won if we had done 900 more damage. Remember that art card I was talking about? Where I was like, if I almost kill and I don't, it would have been much better to use the art card? Yeah, here you go, there it is. Fuck. I think we could have won, because we still had all of our stuff. We had so much burst damage ready to go there. We could have done a quick up and attack up with crits. Okay, we tried that way one more time, and then see where we're at. She would have needed just like 2 max faux pas, I think, for that to have killed. The easier way would just to have better command codes, or you know, better CE, or you know, something like that. Like, you know, I don't know, golden sumo. So I want to point out, there's a lot of things that are good about Golden Sumo. There's a lot of things, but one thing, no, Rex, you're wrong. Nope, nope, you're wrong. You are forgetting something. If you crit every turn, no, Rex, Rex, I'm about to say something. Extra attack. Attack up is the only thing that affects your extra attack. And it absolutely matters. Golden Sumo is absolutely better here. Because although it's tied in like when you're critting, because 15% attack up and 15% crit up are the same. And then on your NP, 50% attack up and 50% NP up is the same. It's not the same for the extra attack. And also your attacks where you don't crit. And we had a few, we had hit Mordred several times in the face there, and we did not crit. And then we'd hit her with our extra attack multiple times. The 15% attack buff would have absolutely been enough. Buff stacking doesn't beat it. Like buff, and first of all, we didn't do any meta buff stacking. That we hadn't done. At no point, like when we did our first NP, we had no buffs. So a 15% NP up and a 15% attack up are exactly the same. And then like her buff, if Jack had her own attack buff, then sometimes it could matter. But her buff is quick up, right? So the way quick up synergizes with NP up is the same with the way it synergizes with attack up. Like Golden Sumo is absolutely better. Yes, on the I agree with that, Rex, but that's not enough. The little bit, that's not that much extra damage. And you have to make it there. See, that's the thing. You have to, it's like in a lot of video games and like MMOs and stuff, people get so greedy to do damage that they don't worry about survivability and they die, right? It's like you don't do any damage if you're dead, right? If you don't make it to the second health bar, you don't get to buff stack, right? And I'm not kidding, buff stacking is great and all, but it's not that big of a damage buff. You extra attack every single fucking turn. You extra attack every single turn, so all the times you don't crit and all the times you extra attack, the golden sumo is getting more and more ahead. And then that one turn where you do attack up from Mysticode, quick up from Jack, and then your CE, that one time you get to do that, that does no way that compensates for the damage. And even if it did compensate for the damage is in the wrong part of the solo. I am right. Anyway, not my fault you keep throwing. I am not throwing. But anyway, really before we talked about this, I was actually about to mention the fact that Golden Sumo is unique in that it helps your extra attack. And in a solo, you extra attack every single turn. And that ends up really adding up. Dude, this desk is so solid, man. It's like a super big, like, thick desk. It's great. Now, see, this is a hand I can get behind. Look, see, look, we even get our extra attack, and we're not even in a solo yet. What if Jakita gets stunned, though? I mean, that's what you bring the command code for. See, I feel bad about saying this, but this is just true, right? If you like Jakita enough, you're going to give her the anti-stun, right? Because she benefits from so much. Unless you also happen to really, really like Frankenstein or Tamcat or something. And then if you don't like Jakita enough, you're probably not going to use her, right? It's not that she's bad, it's just there's a lot of other options, and it's not like, oh my god, I have to use Jakita if I have her, right? You've got Gray and Fuma and all this stuff. So I feel like there really isn't a world where Jakita gets used without the anti-stun CC. Thankfully, the event wasn't like that far away from the summer event, although I guess it is a fair bit of time. But she's lucky because she has the out where sometimes it literally doesn't matter if she stuns herself, like the way that the stuff can work out. And then sometimes she just won't stun herself. So she's definitely in better shape than a lot of the other servants that stun themselves because her stun's not guaranteed. All right, let's try to not fuck it up here. Yeah, but to say, Rex is like my friend. That wasn't heated at all. That was like a joke. I'm still right, by the way, but but you know, yeah, that's bullshit. I feel like, I don't know if this is my fault or what. I'm not changing, by the way, but I think oftentimes it's very difficult for people to tell. Oh no, put it back. Nope, stop, nope. Ooh. That's not a lot of health. That's not a lot of health. Anyway, I think a lot of times people do not tell the difference, and I said this might be my fault, but I think a lot of times people cannot tell the difference between when I'm actually mad and when I'm joking or when I'm just playing it up. I've almost like, I'm never mad on my stream. Like if I'm mad, I don't talk, I don't get all, that's not how I get. Like that's not how I am when I'm mad, like not at all. That's more how like I'm inflamed, if you will. Okay, so she only has 34k health this time. That's way better. I'm very confident we can break now. The question is, do we get greedy and we try to go for quick? I would, but because that one quick is 70% crit chance, and you know, 3 of a kind bonus is nice and all, but I'm not risking that. We probably could though. We probably could. If the 70% crit, I think the 3 of a kind bonus would have won it for us. Because like we didn't even use any of the extra attack there, so if we had crit, I think the triple crit would have been better. But all right, so I gotta think. The ideal time to do the attack up and the evade is on a turn where you're gonna crit and you're gonna NP, and I might be able to set that up better on the next NP. It depends on where the crit spread goes. Because I can just vanilla evade here and NP. I think it's better. I think we vanilla evade, we NP quick. And then on the next turn, we go for quick up, attack up. Because we want it to hit those crits. And if Mordred does her defense up, we can just remove it. So, no biggie. The funny thing is, I actually... You might not think this because the way I portray myself... When I'm on stream, I kind of let myself go, you know, I let the reins go. It's like, you know, Jesus take the wheel. But I actually have a lot of self-control, and like if if I'm at like I don't know, like if I'm at like my friend Kaiser Gamer's house and somebody at the dinner table says something really stupid or that I really disagree with, I have absolutely no problem just not getting into it and just not saying anything. The thing is, if I don't feel like there's a need to restrain myself, I don't. Right? If I don't feel like I need to be you know, dial it back, I don't. You know, why hold it in if you don't have to? But I actually am very calm in most of my life. Okay, I think we're gonna win. Like, this is looking really good now. Like, we're about to throw out some serious damage here. I'm gonna do slow-mo. I don't think we'll kill this turn. I think we kill next turn. But just in case, I'm gonna do slow-mo so I can have more time to cancel. Like, I'm a very passionate guy, and I can get really into things, but I have a lot of self-control. I have a lot of fucking self-control, and I can easily just shut the fuck up. The thing is, if I feel, like I said, if I feel like I don't need to, I won't, because it's like, you know, freedom's nice. And see, when I was young, I had, like, no freedom at all. So as an adult, I, like, kind of go overboard with freedom. You didn't crit! Thankfully, it doesn't matter, because we're gonna win anyway. We would have won that turn. Holy shit! That the amount of value that improves on, though, like, just to be able to keep the evade. So yeah, we could have won that turn. So I'm really happy. This is what I like solos like this, because this isn't RNG. We weren't resetting until we got good RNG. We reset until we figured out how the fuck to play it right. Those are the solos I really like. It's not like you're just hoping for something lucky to happen. You're just and also there's the other side, right? This is actually very common. Is you have solos where it's so easy, or your unit has like 3 turns of wiggle room, right? They could overkill it by like 3 turns. So then you don't have to find that little bit of value about like when you use your evade, you know, when you go for this health bar or that thing, and you don't have to do any of that. I tell you what, actually, I probably will record that. I won't post it for ages though, but I probably will record that. Because gameplay-wise, that was very good. I don't know if anyone would notice it when watching it outside of context, but gameplay-wise, that was a good solo. I really enjoyed that. I like how we have so much overkill here, because we have guaranteed crits. We had 54 stars. Everything crits. You know, last turn we got unlucky and we randomly didn't crit there. But we got 54 stars, so everything crits, and we have crit P again. So, I mean, she's super dead. We can actually go into quite a bit more health. So that was good. I really enjoyed that. That was really fun. I'm not a huge fan of Jack as a character, but gameplay-wise, she's pretty fun, and that was actually really interesting. And again, only, that was pretty vanilla Jack. She had some basic command codes, but Jesus, those were not. That's not fancy command codes at all. That was pretty minor on the command codes there. She's just level 90, MP1. That's nothing crazy, so that's pretty cool. Factory reset. Alright, and I do think Mordred can do it too if I min-max that one. I'm gonna have to... Mordred could do it quite easily if I had Anniversary Blonde, but I think she can do it without Anniversary Blonde. I'll just need to min-max a little bit. I might go Art of Death, because actually we went so overboard with our NP. Like our third skill went to waste entirely, so I could actually use my third skill right away if I wanted to. So I might do Art of Death, something like that. I've been wanting a video to show off Art of Death in anyway. Yeah, we won. Alright, well, I guess we'll wrap up here, because I kind of want to record this with Jack and Mordred and stuff, and just get that done, and then the next stream we can just go. Because that was pretty cool, and I actually like this fight, because you get that switch. You know, where you kind of have a multi-health bar. I think it's actually harder than the other fight with her. Because the other fight with her, you can put all your eggs in one basket. There's no overkill. You know, you just go. This one's a little bit more interesting, I think. They're close, though, because the other one, I think she has a slightly higher attack stat, which can matter. That was fun, though. I had a good time. That was, those Camelot nights, though. Jesus Christ, dude. But see, that's a good example, and I'll say this now. I'll pretty much at least make one solo video for any unit in the game if I can find a really good piece of gameplay for them, right? And it's not about how hard the stage is. It's about how the stage is for them, right? It's like that Phantom video. I love that video so much because I got to really use for once I got to use Phantom in an interesting way. And like even the characters I don't like Thickcaster and stuff, I won't make a lot of videos for them because I don't like them. But if I find good gameplay for a character, it doesn't matter if it's Abigail, doesn't matter if it's Thickcaster, Nero, I'll make a video for him, right? If I can just find a good stage. And that was a really good fight. I really enjoyed that, so. Alright, let's raid somebody. No Cairo. We raided Toho the other day, so we should probably raid somebody else. Mix it up a bit. We'll raid that Mr. Stardust guy again. Why not? Alright, and I feel like Toho is so big that if anyone wants to go to his stream, they know he's streaming, so it's all good. Alright, boys. I will hopefully see you all tomorrow, and we can do some more Camelot. The only way I wouldn't stream tomorrow is I'm just like way behind on the video stuff, and I haven't recorded the Mordred stuff. Alright, peace out, everybody.